Yes, good people. Big up to all of you. I appreciate you all finding the time to join me on Chelsea Perspective this particular morning. It's still morning for me. It's still actually 9:39 a.m. PST time. Today, you could say it's still technically the Blue Morning Show, or you could just call it the Transfer Watch Show. But it's a mix of whatever you choose to call it. And the preview of Chelsea's home game in the Premier League against the Fulham, which we will be looking for a reaction. We'll hope that we will beat them convincingly to make the fans happy. But that's, by the way, we'll talk about a few news items we have lined up here. Just give me 1 second. Let me say them. We'll talk about Bashir Humphreys being mentioned in some, being compared with Benoit Badiashile. We'll talk about Alexander Isaac, the nonsense rumors out there, Ben Chilwell, and then we'll talk about the replacement of Emma Hayes, and then we get into the match preview proper. So if you're there, sit back, relax, which without wasting much of your time, let's get into the show. And I'm going to use the transfer watch. Let me just use the typical, the basic intro because it covers everything. Let's go. Yes, good people. Once again, a big up to all of you. I appreciate you all finding the time to join us on the show. Without wasting much of your time, I have to say hello to the people in the chat because that's how we operate. And as you're joining, please keep dropping the likes. The likes do go a long way. The more likes we garner, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and be forced to push the stream to more people who'd be interested in the topics we have lined up. And the first person in the house is the host, the gist, whatever you choose to call him, Scotch Potch, my friend and a brother, Chelsea Mitchell. Woo! Nice to see you, Mitchell. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join. And if you're still there, you know what to do. Big up to my assistant, Santiago Munoz. Nice to see you, brother. This is for you. I appreciate all your support. Yep, Santiago Muno, much love to you. And Alex D says, wow, is that somebody I know? Alex D as a crowd, but Alex, I hope that means a good thing. And Jay, the 2 a.m. guy, correct me if I got that wrong. Correct me, Jay, but nice to see you, Jay. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join us this particular morning on the Blue Morning Show because technically it's still the Blue Morning Show. It's 9 a.m. for me. Usually the one for 11 a.m. UK is usually 3 a.m. my time. But nice to see you, Jay. Excuse me. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Yeah, Michi is was in the house because that message from Michi was 2 a.m. my time. Yes, coach. Vic is in the house. Nice to see you, Vic. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. And my bro, Alex Diaz Queer, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name Qua, maybe, but I think that should be Queer. Sorry if I butchered your last name. I says he's following the show live from Liberia. Sincerely do appreciate that. And thank you for telling us where you're following the show from. And Alex, fill our home. Express yourself. All we ask of you is just to keep it civil. I appreciate you, Alex. Thank you so much. And Vic is saying Santi with the Pochettino. Yeah, let's see. Let's start immediately without wasting much of your time. Let's start addressing the items we have lined up. And I think the first one is this. The first one should be this one here. Let's go for it. And this particular report here is saying that there's even a sense of even a sense from academy level that the ceiling of some of the new signings isn't as high as Chelsea's many graduates. One view, for example, is that Bashir Humphreys should be ahead of Benoit Badiashile, but the latter costs over 32 million via Miguel Delaney. I think this is absolute horse doo-doo in my opinion. I get it. Bashir Humphreys, he has potentials. He has the ceiling is high for him. But I don't get people going to the extent of comparing him to Benoit Badiashile. Benoit Badiashile is more experienced. Bashir Humphrey may well tomorrow become a better than Benoit Badiashile, but Benoit Badiashile is also still young. I think at most now he's 22. I can't quite remember how old is he. But here's the thing: this is what I call absolute horse dog. I don't like such thing. I think that's gonna lead me back to saying something I've been saying. I've said 1,000 times. We Chelsea fans, we are at a very vulnerable place, and the so-called Junos, or whether Twitter Junos or whatever you call them, they are exploiting our vulnerability. I don't like to see such thing. We're lucky to have Bashir Humphries as one of our players, and we're lucky to have signed Benoit Badiashile at just 32 million pounds because all the clubs weren't interested, and he wanted to come to us. The kid, he's a kid wanting to come to us. Now people are just talking some nonsense out there because it's about Chelsea Football Club. You usually do shows at 3 a.m. my time. Yep, 3 a.m. My time. Yep, and I wake up 2 a.m., 2:20 a.m. to start preparing for the 3 a.m. show my time, which is usually 11 a.m. UK time. But I've gotten used to it. Even when I try to switch things around, I found it very difficult to reset my body clock to accommodate other things I have. Waffle from Miguel there. Yeah, indeed. Hello to you too, the coolest Charles, my bro. To be nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I sincerely do appreciate you. Hi, hit the like button, people, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're getting closer and closer to 19,000 subscribers. Right now, we're at 18,375. We can make it happen, but you have to keep dropping the likes on the stream. Road to 20K subscribers. Yes, I agree with you, brother. And if you're watching, if you haven't, click the three dots to Tobejo's name or the coolest child's name. Click on go to channel. Be sure to subscribe. Let's help him get monetized as soon as possible. Bobby, I appreciate you finding the time to join on the panel. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. And this is for you, Bobby. The question I have, Bobby, not really a question. I want to get your thoughts on this particular report from Chelsea Transfers on the screen and the waffle from Miguel Delaney. For me, I'm not sure what to make of it, but let's hear you, Bobby, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm here. Big up, coach.
Big up to you too, brother.
Coach, I have, you've said something which is very fundamental. The fan base is quite fragile, as it were, at the moment. And
Mm,
I don't know what this story is. I have so ignored a lot of social media that I can't say I'm up to breast with a lot of the things being put out there because so much
mhm,
of it is nonsense. Now, I don't know what this is about, but what I did catch you say is very correct. Benoit Badiashile himself is a kid, 21, 22 years old, I think 22 now. Um, he's still a child. People tend to forget because he looks tall and lanky and, they expect so much from him. He's a kid. So
mhm.
I don't know what correlation him and Badiashile have, but I don't see I don't see the comparison or the need for comparison. But what is this story? What are they saying now?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It says that there's even a sense from academy level that the ceiling of some of the new signings, not even Benwa Badiashile alone, some of the new signings aren't as high as Chelsea's many graduates. One view, for example, is that Bashir Humphries should be ahead of Benwa Badiashile, but the latter costs 32 million. I think this is costing a stare, but just go ahead. I've read it out to you.
Yeah, okay. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? The thirst for a Chelsea hit piece is rampant. And it
Mhm,
doesn't, it happens when things are going well. They try and make sure that they just want Chelsea in a particular box of scandal, dysfunction, and perpetual struggle, and they will create it if it's not happening in reality on the media platforms. This is what you call a hit piece, unnecessary story, trying
mhm.
to create some sort of sense of division between the Cobham graduates and the newly recruited youngsters. Nonsense. You're quite right. Call it for what it is and chuck it out. Simple as that.
Yep, that's how I see it. It just doesn't make sense. Bobby, I'll come back to you in a bit. And thank you so much for that contribution that right there. Big up, coach. Finally got someone in the 2 a.m. club. Yeah. It is crazy. And plus staying awake the previous night, researching for the show. Now that Chimera, nice to see you. And big up Chimera. Let's see what else we have here. What is the statue of Christopher and other intense of injury for Houston? Christopher Nkunku will not be available tomorrow. We've learned from the manager that his injury is actually worse than previously thought, unfortunately. So he's concerned. He's told us. Miguel is an Arsenal journalist, but he talks more about Chelsea. So it's more like you could call it banter, or maybe it's just him trolling, because if he's an Arsenal Juno, so he has no business talking about Chelsea as much as he's doing. Keep dropping the likes on the stream.
Can I,
With the likes do go a long way. Go ahead, Bobby. You were saying something.
I just want to drop something about Christopher Nkunku because,
Hmm.
if you remember from your last platform, I'm quite irritated by this.
Yeah,
It's just for the fan
rightly so.
base. Yeah, fan base. They need to now understand. If Chelsea go and pick up somebody like I'm not saying him in particular because he's injury prone as well.
Hmm.
Pick up a Chiesa or a industrious marquee offensive player. Please don't start shouting about, "Ooh, what if Nkunku's on the bench and yada yada." If Nkunku's on the bench, he's on the bench. I'm tired of these injury prone players demanding first team action when they're fit for 5 minutes, all of 5 minutes in a season. If this is what he's about, fine. We bring in another player that probably should be about more, and he goes on the bench. This is just my response to these guys. Ben Chilwell, all these, you're all bench players. Good, we need strength on the bench anyway. And that's what you are. Because you can't give us a full season if we play you as a first teamer. So let's have bits of you and have you for a season. Because this is very frustrating. The lack of Nkunku is punishment. We factored in our progression by having Nkunku available. He was very much a part of the development of this new Chelsea. And his absence is one of the things that is inhibiting the progression of the project. And this is why, when we speak of the impact the injuries have had on the project and its progression, this is it. His absence, Chilwell's absence, Reece James' absence. These are big things. The absence of Carney, although he's a lesser impact to the project blueprint, but it's still impactful. So really, if the club go get another player, I'm all for it. Let's duplicate these people that are constantly out injured for a long time.
Yeah, I think if he remains as it is, which is it just seems as if it's getting worse. I think the club will have no option than to get replacements for those players. Hopefully they find a solution to the issue. And Jay is saying, what nonsense news is this by Miguel? Such things serve no purpose and only divides the fan base and players. And no surprises there. That's because it's more of he's an Arsenal junior, not really Chelsea. Is Pochettino still trending? Of course, it will never stop. I am hearing Hansi Flick noises too. That's absolute horse doo in my opinion. That's what else we have here, mostly from unreliable Twitter sources. Yeah, I don't pay attention to them. That is no different from when I saw the rumors linking Chelsea with a move to Alexander Isaac. Two things. Newcastle are a big club right now. Yeah. And there's no way you can convince them to sell one of their best players, if not best player so far this season. You can't do that. They're one of the big boys now. They have the money, and I'm quite sure they probably will be willing to pay. They're capable of paying better than we do, given that we already restructured our salary. What's the term I'm looking for? Structure, for lack of a better term. So I don't think it makes sense to
They
even
can't
talk
pay
about
better than us.
us signing Alexander Isaac. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I know that's a nonsense story for sure, and they wouldn't
Mhm.
sell him, but they can't pay more than us. They're struggling to keep within the confines of FFP.
Okay, I'm
This,
not well
this,
acquainted with that, but I don't
this,
think they're selling to us. But go ahead with what
no,
you're saying, Bobby.
they won't. I mean, this is why the Chelsea project exists. Our owners have preempted the issue of a large wage bill and have
Mhm.
decided to go down this route because of FFP. This large wage bill issue is what hamstrings a lot of clubs, Liverpool, even Arsenal. The fact that they've managed to survive it so far is because they have been in the Champions League of recent 2 seasons in a row. But it is a stringent rule, and definitely they won't be selling him because they're not a cash-strapped club, but they need to. They are very, very much aware of the limitations put on them by FFP, and
Mhm.
they're one of the clubs that are almost teetering on the edge of that because it's all now revenue based, and come next season, it's even more revenue based in that it's a percentage of your revenue that is within the confines of what you can buy and what you can account for. So the rules are getting tighter, and clubs are not really going to be going for these big wages. That might work in our favor, come to think of it, for Osimhen, because if we hit the buyout clause, and there's all these rules now coming in within the confines of 75% of your revenue,
Mhm.
um, clubs will have to curtail what they offer for wages so they can keep within FFP. And that will give us a chance of then a player choosing their genuine preference. Should they want to remain in Europe or should they want to come to the Premier League? And then it becomes, which club has the most attractive project, which is what the aim of financial fair play is. So watch this space. But back to your point about Isaac, no chance. He's not leaving Newcastle.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening also. But thank you so much for that, Bobby. Mostly from unreliable Twitter sources. And Tobeho has shared the link to his YouTube channel. Please kindly subscribe to his YouTube channel. The link is there. And I think I'll pin the link at the very top so you can go check it out and subscribe. Let's help him get get monetized as soon as possible to encourage him to do more. Please go subscribe. Let's see, Chimera. Yep, funny indeed. Before we signed Nkunku, he was not injury prone. Unfortunately, he's got an injury during a training before the World Cup. Kamavinga injured him. Yeah, I remember that video. I guess those noises are more in your mind, Chimera. Possibly. That may well be the case. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. We need a new stadium for big revenue. You bet your bottom dollar there. It's a priority for them. You bet your bottom dollar is a priority for them. They are working on it to get it done as soon as possible. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And we have GFC Gavin in the house is here. The link to his YouTube channel. Let's go check it out and help him get monetized as soon as possible. Every time I visit the channels of these brothers, of these Chelsea related content creators, I look to see if they're monetized because I want to help them grow. I want to encourage them to do more. That's why we're selfless here. Selflessness is the reason why we're growing as quickly as we're growing. And the more Chelsea related content creators we have, the more we can grow our fan base. So, yeah, go check it out and subscribe. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up, people. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. And quickly, I want to appeal to those of you who are following the show, but for one reason or the other, you're not able to participate in the chat. Just know that we appreciate you. And that's because you watching alone does go a long way. So we're saying thank you. But please, we're asking you to please take a second to come drop a like on the stream for us. The likes do go a long way. Let's see what else we have here. Yep, just having a conversation there. And Louis Rivera is in the house. And Louis Rivera, I haven't taken the time to appreciate you for always supporting the community. Here's for you. Sincerely do appreciate you, brother. Thank you. And thank you so much. And people are selling their own on-demand tickets right now. I think they are. I understand what you're saying. I've heard that, but I'm not sure what to make of it, to be honest. And big up to you too, and big up to Jerry C. Thank you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. Share the link to your YouTube channel when you get a chance so people can go check it out. And right now we have to move to the next item we have lined up, people. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. And if you're following the show once more, for one reason or the other, you're not able to participate in the chat, just know that we appreciate you. And that's because you watching alone does go a long way. But we want you to do us one tiny bit of favor, which is to take a second to drop a like on the stream for us to help us to reach more people. Let's go! Right, this year, it's absolute hot dunk. We've talked about it already, but we have it on the screen. Alexander Isaac, who have moved, who Chelsea have moved, how do I pronounce that correctly? Over is considered unsellable by Newcastle United. Yes, then.
Chelsea have Moldova.
Okay, over. For me, it's absolute hot dunk. It's never going to happen. Newcastle, more importantly, are one of the big boys right now. And secondly, he's one of Newcastle's most important players. Yeah. So it's never going to happen. Yeah, go ahead.
What is the biggest horse dung part of it, Coach? Is that we're not even looking that direction. This is a made-up fantasy. Chelsea aren't even trying to acquire this player. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just fantasy. It's just another. I don't know. Maybe some of these guys don't have anything to write about, so they create stories.
It just doesn't make any sort of sense. Always love you guys in this club through better and worse. Nice to hear, brother. I appreciate you saying that. Chelsea is the entity we'll support. Come rain, come thunder. Let's see. Big up Kuchila. Big up to Tamidayo Oluwaroka. Nice to see you, brother. And even in full of anticipation to everyone on the platform. Nice to see you, bro. I hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed your new year. We've also been linked with Ferguson and Dybala. I think Fabrizio Romano has debunked the rumors linking us with a move for Dybala. Ferguson, for me, it's absolute nonsense. What has he achieved, really? That's not me saying he's a bad player. And quickly, we have about 30 people watching, and 4 of those either probably on Facebook. Just know that we appreciate you, but I have a secret for you, and the secret is you're better off joining us on YouTube here, subscribing to the channel, and also turning the notification button on. And that's because if you do that and you're a student, you get a chance to win at least $50 whenever we're able to do that. We do give away to support our members who are students. But that's, by the way, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And I have my bro, Eddie Love for Blue. Eddie, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. That's for you, brother. Thank you so much, Eddie. Sincerely do appreciate you. Hi, Coach. Why is Chelsea reported to be sending scouts to the Newcastle versus Man City game? I think it's absolute nonsense. You know it's going to happen. The only possibility, I've seen something to the effect of his current contract with Newcastle United has a £75 million release clause on it. I don't know whether to believe that or not. So to me, right now, we've talked about two main reasons why we don't think it's going to happen. One, Newcastle are no longer a selling club. If anything, they're looking to buy the best players in the world whenever they can. Two, let's just go with the basic. He's one of Newcastle's most important players, best players this season so far, in my opinion. So why sell him? They want to make, if anything, if they get a chance, if they're not going to get into trouble with FFP, they want to make a statement signing, if anything. And I don't see that happening, really. Remember, we were linked with more than 100 players last summer. It's a Chelsea thing. Yep. and I think it will get worse this season. And something we've always talked about here, we've advised people to always be cautious. Don't just believe everything you see out there. Take your time, dissect and analyze the information you have before you, and then come to a sensible conclusion. Don't just suck it all up. It's a risk, and it's not good for your health. And Jerry, I appreciate you finding the time to join the panel. Looks like you're back home, not in the UK anymore. I hope you enjoyed your trip with your wife to the UK. But more importantly, I appreciate you finding the time to join. You have anything to say with regards to what we've talked about so far? We still have other items that we want to address before we get into the match preview proper, where I know you probably have a lot to say. But let's hear you, Jerry.
Good evening, Coach.
Yeah, big up to you, brother. I
No,
hope you're doing well.
I am in UK. I've moved here, so I'll be here now.
Oh, it was a permanent move,
Yes, sir. It was not a
not
loan;
a
it was
visit. It was a
permanent.
move, not a visit.
Yes, it was not a loan; it was permanent, and that's why it took me a while to settle in. With the new place, and new city.
Excellent. Congratulations and good luck with whatever led to you moving there. I know you're a
Thank you, sir.
hardworking person, and I wish you endless possibilities in 2024.
Thank you so much, sir. So I just
No
joined
worries.
and just saw the show since the last
Mm.
5 minutes or so. So I believe the only thing that I saw was the speculation of the transfer. So I don't really have much to add because first of all, I
Okay.
have to be very honest, not following all these news since the last week.
Hmm.
And again, this is speculative and it's very difficult, to say something on that.
Hmm. Yep, thank you. We'll get to the match preview soon. Remember, yeah, I remember that, brother. And Wally Waldo is in the house. Nice to see you, brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. And I'm gonna keep thanking you until I get tired of thanking you. I remember again, you're one of our biggest supporters there in this community. So thank you, and that's for you. I am sick of these rumors, honestly. Sick of hearing about Chelsea are interested in Ferguson and Isaac. Yeah, some nonsense out there. It's a complete joke. This club, all the fans want to see him, and the owners think the fans will be happy with Ferguson. And that is it. The owners aren't actually interested in signing Ferguson. That's how I see it. I think these rumors are all. These reports are all made up because yeah, it gets Chelsea fans to click on them. Ferguson or Isaac as a longer term player than Osimhen. Clubs are a complete joke nowadays. I don't think I'm not going to blame my club for something I know most likely is absolute nonsense. That's how I see it. But I get it. You're entitled to your opinion, and if that's how you see it, chances are you're correct. Well, all we can do is speculate. None of us works for the club, or you could say have sat at the table where they had conversations on which players to go for or which players not to go for. So let's go for the next item, people. Let's go. Ben Chilwell is pushing it to make a Chelsea squad tomorrow. He's been training for a while, so I'm not too sure why he hasn't made his debut. They said desperate times calls for desperate measures. Like I said, for with regards to the manager's selection for our game against Middlesbrough, I did argue that I'd rather we go for our strongest 11, keep playing them, and keep getting results. But the moment we see any signs of tiredness in them, we observe any signs of tiredness in them, then we take them off and bring in the other players. We need to accumulate good results as much as possible. But I'm not the manager anyway. Bobby, I know you probably have a lot to say with regards to Ben Chilwell's pushing himself to be available for selection, to be in the squad tomorrow, which for me, if it's not ready, let him not in the squad. It's a risk. We don't want him to play 45 minutes, and then the next time we see him will be in 2029. But let's see. Let's
Yeah.
hear you, Bobby.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. Pushing what? Yeah, he's right. You're right. If he's not ready, we shouldn't even try. The guy's a bench player, as I keep saying. I'm not going for all this flatter to deceive Ben Chilwell at antics. He's a senior player at Chelsea Football Club who does not play. It's no longer tolerable. We have empathy for the fact that he's brittle, But the reality is, because he's brittle, he's not a first team player. So his best hope should be on the bench for us to be able to get anything out of him for the huge wages he's receiving. So a lot of the empathy and things I had for him is waning thin now. He's a luxury. He's a luxury. So I don't uh, hang my hat on the likes of him to be relied upon to play any game, not least to mention tomorrow's game.
How much time, Bobby? How much time do you think the owners will give him? Because I don't think uh, it's at some point. I think they start seeing him as a liability, occupying a space where uh, you can say that could allow them to sign a player that will stay fit and be available for selection whenever needed. In this case, you can say he's gradually becoming a liability if it's not become one already, because this has happened for about 3-4 seasons in a row. How much time
Yeah.
do you think the owners will give him? I know probably we've heard that they're not. The plan isn't to sell some of the senior players we'll have. They want to keep them, probably because they realize the importance of having experienced players in the squad. But how much time do you think they'd give him, really?
Well, I know that if they had their way, he certainly wouldn't be getting the wages he's getting. But I think that kind of was before them, so they're stuck with it.
Didn't he? Sorry, quickly. Didn't he
Bench
sign his new contract under the new ownership? I think he did.
Possibly, but that would have been a the time that Todd Bowley was doing everything himself, and he was
Mhm.
trying his best within what he knew. And of course, there wasn't that youth structure to deal with FFP that exists now. No, I'm not saying that they don't value Ben Chilwell. Of course they do. He is, as I've said, a senior player at Chelsea Football Club. He is one of those players that was relied upon to get this project to a better level, get us Champions League football. Had we had people like Ben Chilwell
Mhm.
and Reece James fully fit, we would be talking about at least a push for Champions League football. But because they have not been fit and are incapable of being fit, we have struggled. Nkunku, Chilwell, Reece James. These are huge key players to Chelsea and to the Chelsea project. So I think what I would do certainly is I would, number one, make sure that, well, he can't play as a reliable first teamer. He has to be part of just the squad, number one. Number two, I don't think it's tolerable that we do this next season. If he goes into this injury spiral next season, then towards the end of that season, we've got to look to offload him. That's all. This is the last time it becomes tolerated that this happens. If we go into another season of, oh, we start off with Ben Chilwell, everybody looking hopeful, and then bang, 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 a couple of games in, he's gone until the end of the season. No, we can't do that anymore. So what that translates to, next season, one more big injury, and he has to be under consideration for offloading to make space for somebody that will be able to play, because it makes no sense. He's not playing. You see what I'm saying? The guy, if we're
Mhm.
lucky, can give us 10 games. Okay, let's be generous. 15 games a season. That's not good enough. That is not good enough for the income he's earning. I'm sorry. I'm sick of all these training videos, Chilwell smiling, everybody. No, I'm not having it anymore. We've suffered so much. We've seen
We
these
don't have to be
youngsters.
sentimental about it.
Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head. His time, football is a athlete's sport. You've got to be fit, you've got to be strong.
Mhm.
It is a sport that's based, certainly Premier League football is based on your physical endurance. And if you don't have it, you shouldn't be earning the big bucks. That's just the reality. So this is the last time I want to see Ben Chilwell like this. After that, I'm not interested. Even now, my interest has waned. He's not going to be fit for Saturday. How can he be? How can he be, coach?
Yeah, if
He's
he's
not
pushing, which
playing.
means his return will be premature.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at Nkunku, couple of run-outs, and look what's happened to him. You know, it's not. And these guys are the biggest earners. No, the
Yep.
ownership will really be looking at this now, and they will be quite prepared to make an unpopular decision if it persists. Simple as that. And I will
Yeah,
support them.
I do agree with you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby, looks like Roger he heard your voice. Roger,
Ah,
Dodger,
big up,
hola,
Roger.
gracias, ciao, aloha. But Roger, nice to see you. This is for you, brother. Sincerely do appreciate you. Much respect for you. And Roger, we have injury issues, so we're gonna bring you in immediately, whether you're ready or not. But welcome to the panel, Roger. We're talking about Ben Chilwell right now. What do you make of him pushing to to make the squad tomorrow? It just doesn't make sense. This doesn't make any sort of sense to me, because if him pushing to be in the squad tomorrow, which means that probably his return, most likely his return will be premature. What do you make of it? And do you think he's gradually becoming a liability to the club? And how much time do you think the club will give him?
Konnichiwa.
And I know you were going to find a way to let me know I missed one or two, but go
What was
ahead.
that, Japanese?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, dear.
How are you, gentlemen? It's always a pleasure
Fine.
to be on the same panel as you, Bobby, and everyone else.
Yeah.
I think, listen,
Likewise.
Coach, I hope you are sitting down, because this is a shocker. I agree with everything Bobby said. I'm going to take it a bit step forward in one more regard. I know it's going to be unpopular, but I also think the same way with Reece, who I like tremendously, more than words can claim. I believe this time next year, if we're in the same boat yet again with several of these, I hate this term, injury prone, but if this is to be the case and they're susceptible and cannot maintain a healthy regimen so that it can be available for, let's say, at least 2/3 of a season, then I think we need to move on. I really do, for Reece and for Chilwell. I really do. Chilwell, yeah. I know one of the large misses was a contact injury against Juve. I get it. I understand that. But
was that the last one?
No, that was the largest. I think the biggest injury he ever had. Blew out his knee. And you know what? Listen, it's not like it's only those two or only this chap, Bobby. But if you look across the whole squad, I mean, Lavia and Nkunku, they've played. What, seriously? They've played a couple of hours each max. Not even, probably. I know Lavia is probably not even. I don't know what to say, because this isn't the norm. It seems that we're getting constantly a depleted squad for the last several seasons, and this is a huge factor as to why we're not running on all cylinders, and this needs to be addressed, because if you're not healthy enough to play on a consistent basis, then that's a massive detraction for any player. It's don't forget, in the old days we could afford to have these type of players on our squad, but now we have salary cap, now we have financial fair play, so it's not only from the coach's standpoint, but from a fiscal standpoint, we don't have the ability to waste money. And I say this respectfully, I use that term waste, but spend money on players who are not available to be chosen to play. either on the match day squad or in the starting 11 or come on as a sub. So I think it's imperative that this subject be addressed within the actual entity of the organization. They need to address this. They need to strategize, consult. I don't know. America has some amazing sports scientists there, some of the best in the world. I'm not saying Europe doesn't, but they need to confer. They need to strategize. Like you strategize.
Go ahead, Roger. I'll be back in just a few seconds.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, like you strategize when you go forward, determining what player profile you want, etc. Well, they should also strategize from a medical perspective. Where do we go from now? How do we overcome this huge avalanche of injuries? And this needs to be addressed not just on a one-to-one basis, but across the board, because we can't afford to have these players not being able to listen. There's a lot of fluke injuries. We get that, but you're right, Bobby. People like Chilwell, when he's healthy, he's a good, solid player. He's an international.
The progression of the entire project was based on the availability of the likes of Chilwell, James, and Nkunku in particular, three of the most key players
Lavia
to
too, to a certain
Chelsea's.
extent.
Sorry?
Lavia to a certain extent.
Lavia
Also.
as well. Oh, definitely. These were key players. If they were fit, Chelsea will be talking of challenging for a Champions League position.
Yeah.
But they haven't been. They have not even been available in any way, shape, or form, and it's just not acceptable. It's not doable. Now we have two answers to this. The first is either we replace, that is, eliminate them completely and bring in a fresh set of fitter players, or we duplicate and just bring in another equivalent to them and have either one of them on the bench. Now, why I think at least some of them, if not all of them, some are probably up for replacement. And this is perhaps the last season, particularly those that have been consistently absent season upon season. This is probably the last time it's tolerable due to the effect it's had on the Chelsea finance structure and the fact that they are the higher earners. Why I think replacement is more likely is because of the wages. And because bringing in somebody else and keeping them is just compounding that wage structure after failing to finish in positions that bring in the revenue. This is a very serious thing. It's far more serious than we give audience to, because it's affected us terribly.
It's been hugely impactful, and I think Wesley Fofana needs to come under that umbrella.
Oh,
I think
yes.
he's been with us.
He's already there. I think probably his return will be the last opportunity he has to prove that, okay, he's here to deliver.
Because God forbid, if this time next year Wesley Fofana is yet again unable to play more than literally 5 games to 10 games, then we need to look for a replacement for him also. It sounds cutthroat, but we can't afford these players.
No, there's no point. Honestly, there's no point. As you said, 4 to 5 games a season. What is that? I mean, Carney, definitely, he's not yet in that bracket. But when you think he's only played 2 games,
1.5
in an entire season, we're more than halfway through. Chilwell, about the same thing. Reece James, a little bit more than that. Lavia,
but barely.
Yeah, barely more. Lavia, who isn't quite in that bracket yet because he's just started, has only played 20 minutes. Nkunku, crikey, what have we seen of him? We can't do this. This will
Fofana
affect.
also.
Oh, Wesley Fofana hasn't even kicked a ball in the Premier League for us.
I mean,
we can't. No team can survive this. None.
You can say at this measure, you could argue it's become crisis.
It is a crisis, coach.
Yeah.
It has so derailed the progression of this team for the season. And this is what a lot of our fan base fail to understand. We're so desensitized to the fact that this thing is happening to us that we don't factor it in when we see our team performing like they did at Middlesbrough.
I would
You
equate
think,
this, Bobby, to cooking. If you want to cook, bake, or whatever the circumstances, but you're missing half your ingredients, guess what? The food's not going to be cooked
as
correctly.
Yeah,
exactly,
it will not taste good.
Yeah,
exactly.
like my cooking, basically.
Even when you do have all the ingredients.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my goodness.
Oh dear.
But it's the truth,
Okay,
though.
let's give those at the time the microphone. We don't have too many there, so we'll
Yeah.
come back to the panel a bit. Let's hear if whether Jarizi has anything to add to that. And Santiago Muno, my assistant there in the chat, says the sources are from Palmeiras have informed the sport, that's an outlet, most likely, that Chelsea have transferred one of the executive. I guess this is probably most likely translated from Portuguese. Has have transferred one of the executive of the legal department to Sao Paulo with the intention of paying Estavo Williams' transfer fee, I'm guessing. But that's by the way, Maluk. So Wallywood, they're saying, I don't blame the club itself, coach. I blame the scouting department, the scouting team, and the transfer business team. Okay, let's see. Chimera saying Chilwell is made of biscuit. A lot of these injury-prone players need the Ronaldo conditioning. I've never seen this many injuries at any club. I haven't. It's concerning, really. And since this season, there's hardly a time we didn't have at least 8 players out injured. That's just me being. I'm trying not to lie.
I think there's one game, coach, that we had less than 8 players missing. One game.
Only one. We had one less than 8 game. Okay, 8 players
8
missing.
players. Yeah, I think it's one, if I'm not mistaken. I mean,
so that's close.
We've been decimated. That's the
mhm.
only way I can term it. We've been depleted and decimated.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't conditioned to, you can say, consider them when they judge the club's performances. To be honest, footballers are fairies in this era. Even if they get a little knock, that isn't that bad. They will still say they are injured. Wow. Donkey from Roger there, the Wafflers Union chairman. And Michi, please, when you get a chance to share the link to your YouTube channel so that people can go check it out. Let's get you to 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Let's see. That's what happens when you collect players that are in it for the money. Okay. Barcelona and Madrid are successful because players actually want to play for them. Wow, some argument right there. Barcelona are yet to contact Palmeiras for Estavo Williams. So everything we've heard that suggests that he's on his way to Barcelona are all lies. Okay,
Coach, can I just add something very briefly? I think another part of the equation that I apologize, I missed the first half an hour or so of the program, but I'm not sure if you've mentioned it or not, so I apologize if you have.
I haven't.
Go ahead. Another really important facet is our players going and being overextended for international play. You know, like an N'Golo, like a Enzo. This is another part of the equation. They're overworked, not just domestically, but internationally also. I think, listen, every player, you know, lives to play for their country, and I respect that. But there has to be a certain putting the foot down on the brake, so to speak.
Roger, that may apply to the likes of Enzo and Caicedo. Yeah. But to be
N'Golo
honest,
historically.
Well, N'Golo when he was here. But to be honest, that does not apply to Chilwell or Wesley Fofana or Reece James.
No, I agree.
You know, these guys, or even, to be fair, Nkunku, you know, he hasn't really been away with France.
No, I agree.
The issue with these guys is we based a project on them. And they kind of cornered us into it with the threat of, oh, you have to pay us large wages, give us almost first team appearances. And we said, okay, we will do that. And I don't blame the ownership for doing that, because these are excellent athletes when they are fit. But now the reality is a decision has to be made. Are these guys really capable of being fit enough to fulfill the roles we're paying them for? This is a practical decision. And it's going to be a tough one for several. I think the only person I think it'll be very, very hard for us not to compromise with is the only two, Reece James and Nkunku. I can see we will compromise because of their quality, their sheer quality when they are fit. But honestly, I don't see us doing that with Wesley. I was a serious Wesley Fofana fan, but not
Hmm.
for 2, 3, 4 games a season. That makes no sense to me. And Ben Chilwell, I've already walked away from that bus.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I'm not doing this.
Is
You
this
know, is it?
Fofana's second or third season? I think second season.
yeah. This is
Yeah,
hold on. I
second.
think we
Yeah, second
acquired
season.
him. Yeah, we acquired Wesley Fofana, I think, in the summer of 2022-23. Yeah, we did, from
Yeah,
Leicester.
So, so this is his second season. Yeah.
Affirmative,
yeah.
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 But
All
It,
right.
it,
Thank you.
it,
This is practically saying that Chelsea are willing to trigger his 60 million release clause. He's an exceptional talent, a very young, 16. I think he's still. Go ahead, Bobby. If you were still talking.
I just want to finally say, what has been said almost repetitively. It's
Hmm.
cost us. It's cost us. Everything about how we're struggling. You cannot take it, divulge it or separate it from the absence of these guys. You just can't do it because it is impactful that they're not playing for Chelsea right now. They're not fit enough to play for Chelsea right now.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
Roger.
Roger, have you dropped or were you still up in the air?
no, I just wanted to say the reason why I mentioned international, like when we have a player returning and he's not 100%, I think we need to put our foot down to whatever FIFA organization, country that player belongs to and say he should not be picked for whatever games this because listen, he's barely 100% fit. He's not even match fit, and they go away and get hurt again. That's what I'm alluding to. We need to
Hmm.
put something, whether we can do that legally, contractually, or we just have to we have to be more stern and more decisive in how we address certain FIFA organizations because I fear for Caicedo and Enzo, they're already being overplayed, and I can see them being a recipient of being overplayed by their respective nations. That's just for them, for example. Because don't forget, unlike the European players, that they're quite close, geographically speaking, by comparison. Flying to South America and back takes its toll also.
Yeah, it does. It does. Jerry, you have anything to add to the conversation right now? Should I move on?
Yes, sir. A great conversation and really music to my ears. So this is basically what Bobby and Roger said is the issue, the primary issue, probably 90 to 95% uh, why we are where we are. But the armchair experts in the community that are 9 out of 10 who are talking about Chelsea Football Club are completely ignoring that. And yeah, so this is not even a factor for them. So it's hilarious. It's disappointing, disgusting that the armchair experts are not taking this into account. And one more important thing is to all of these injuries is not on a squad that is already playing for a couple of years or are experienced. It's a brand new squad, not seen in my at least lifetime in the Premier League or the top five leagues. To put together, assemble overnight in two windows, a completely brand new squad, and then you have reoccurring injuries about 10 to 12. Yes, seven, as Roger said, only one game was seven, but 8 to 12 throughout the season, and all the big players that are so important. But at the same time, everyone is saying it's Pochettino's fault. Okay, good luck with that. Get him fired. Uh, Okay, so the thing is, of course, Pochettino should have done a little bit better, I would say. But the thing is, it's because of the injuries, And I would just like to add one more thing. It's not about Pochettino. I will not make it about Pochettino. But the thing is that people don't do their analysis in research. And I'm very disappointed, right? Because I want to look up to people. And thank God we have Roger and Bobby here that I learn from. But there are not too many people I learn from. And I want to learn from some people who have something to add, some value to add. So Pochettino, some people can say that he could have done a few different things. Yes, but we have to understand that every coach has their attributes and qualities. He has a very certain way of playing. And I believe he is working on that. Yes, he can change a few things here and there, but because it's a new squad, he really don't want to change the system because he really want to make it work, make the patterns work. And people again forget the 7 years that he has spent at Southampton and Tottenham. Overnight, he doesn't become a bad coach. And all they say is that he's playing Cowell as a left back and blah, 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 one or two, three things. And that is why he's so bad. Again, like in the games, all the games we have played, I think four games I remember have been really bad. And one last thing to conclude is that, okay, like for instance, the game against Luton Town, we were really good for 75 minutes, right? People remember those 15 minutes, as Bobby said. How he beautifully said that the team is not rehearsed. I won't be really worried about the last 15 minutes of Luton Town, to be very honest. It shows that 75% minutes were good, and it will of course take some time that we will handle that. It is to do with nerves. People say Pochettino didn't do anything. He called Gallagher and Silva, if you go and watch the replay, address the issues when the Luton Town manager made the changes and they attacked from the wide areas. Even Thiago Silva was addressing that, but the team was not able to handle that. It's not Pochettino was not addressing it. Pochettino was addressing the issues multiple times in that game. And last thing is that even with the Preston game, people can either look at the first half or say we were terrible. I will rather look at the second half and say because it's a new team, we really have a good potential over here. So that's all I want to say for this for now. With Pochettino and all this, we really need a little bit more time. He never had the players. We need the players. He need the players to make it work. And so it's really very disheartening that people have completely overlooked the issue of the injuries.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We'll come back to the panel. I want us to get to the match preview as soon as possible. Hit the like button, people, and also keep subscribing to the channel. We're getting closer and closer to 19,000 subscribers, and we have 27 likes for this particular show. We can do even much better. And Constantine Dantu, nice to see you, brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. What else do we have here? Let's see. What all this do donkey you're hearing? We were discussing some nonsense reports out there saying that Chelsea will send scouts to go watch Alexander Isak, which is absolute nonsense. Honestly, the Nations League shouldn't even be a thing. I think too much football actually doesn't help. And because we have the quality of players we have, you can say nearly all of them are internationals. They represented their respective countries internationally. So that was an issue, serious issue under Thomas Tuchel. All the Nations League does is to help you qualify for the Olympics. That's it. So it's just too much football, really. Yeah. And that's the vibe. Nice to see you, the vibe. Appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Let's see what else we have here. Constantine that is saying that Leicester City was our previous fetish club. You could argue that. How many players did we get for Leicester City? N'Golo Kante and Danny Drink Wine, and then Ben Chilwell. And any other person? Just the three of them, right? Yeah, so it was really, you could argue. If a player gets injured by impact injury, can he be called injury prone? I don't think so, and hence there's no evidence to suggest Nkunku is injury prone. Reece, Chile, different case. At this point, I'm not an expert. I'm not sure what defines what of the part of the argument you're making right now. But Nkunku, before he came to Chelsea, people were actually arguing that he's injury prone. Yep. That's because even before, I think before World Cup, I can't quite remember, he only played half the season because he was out with an injury. But the impact of the one that his teammate injured him during the French national team camp, World Cup camp, it doesn't count as being injury prone. I get it. I think that's clearly your point there. But I think he's been injured more when not he's had more a lot of non-impact injuries, for lack of a better language there. Yep, Broja out. I like that name, man. Broja in. Okay, they're fighting over you. 95% cost of injuries. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And Roger speaks to everyone. Keep the blue flag flying high. That's what we're here to do. We all love our club and we have conversations, debates. Are we still on for dinner night?
Couldn't resist. Sorry.
You want to take her out because I'm going to call her now. Eventual better be fit until at least we have a Marco Correa fit. And I'm tired of Levi Cowell getting cooked in the left back position. And you can say getting cooked by opposition players. But I don't blame him. I never. There's never been a time we'll finish the game and I'll say, yeah, start blaming him for not defending properly or for drifting inwards rather than stay out wide and mark the person he's supposed to mark and leave the person central to the person operating as a center back on the day. And that's because he does what he does naturally as a center back. Yeah. But that's just me anyway. And the Chelsea boy at 12:34. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. And the only person he says hello to is Roger. Evening, Roger. Wow. Roger, the Chelsea boy, check is in the mail. Poch isn't going to play at Chilwell tomorrow. I think he won. It just doesn't make sense. If he's pushing to participate tomorrow, which means his return will be premature and could lead to a setback. And we don't want that. Yes, only Jerry Z does the proper research. Okay, I'm not going to get between that. Just play Gusto left back and Gilchrist right back. I would do that. I would do that, in my opinion. Yes, let's see anything else to address here. He will probably say in a presser that he's not ready for this game. Let's see anything else to address. Tiger is in the house. Hello, Coach Panel, and hello to you too. That next 2 games, everything. Lose them both, or get the heck out out of my club, and stay okay, and try to win the dreaded fixtures list in January and February versus Liverpool, City, Spurs, and Wolves. Those are the games actually I don't fear, and I said that before, and we've seen why I don't fear playing against the big boys. Let's see what else we have here. Coach, do you have the news about apparently 3 players are starting to complain against Poch? No, because I don't pay attention to such nonsense. For me, it's absolute horse doo-doo, in my opinion. I've seen it, but I didn't pay attention to it. It's just as me not making a YouTube shot with regards to our reported pursuit of Alexander Isak, because I know it's absolute horse dunk, in my opinion. I'm not saying, again, chances are it has happened, but for me, I don't think so. We must win tomorrow. Yep, we must win tomorrow. Dante Pice is waffling. PIS is waffling, in my opinion. Yep, that's no different from was it Joey, the content creator, that says mentioned? I think he mentioned Ben Chilwell told him that somebody said Mihailo Mudryk is not good or something to that effect. I can't quite remember what he said, but it turns out he lied and later apologized. But for me, at that moment, I started respecting him as a content creator. Big up to you too, Phil. Seems nice to see you. Big game tomorrow. I have a feeling we will show up to the game and trust Fulham and trash Fulham, I guess. If I have to say, all the remaining games will be a must-win. Yeah, every game like that, in my opinion. Let's see. Okay, people having good conversations there. Nice to see. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom and I'm going to try to get your subsequent contributions. Namaya, I see you. Big up to you. I appreciate you finding the time to join. I hate comparing youngsters to legends, to be honest. Yep. I don't think it makes any sort of sense. Let's see if we have any other item there. Let's go. Is that Chelsea are expected to name a female coach to replace Emma Hayes after senior players told the club they would prefer to work with a woman. Okay, if that's what they want, then the club get it for them. There are good women coaches out there. Maybe we should try and push to sign the outgoing U.S. national team coach. And there are others that I know that I've seen that I know that are good also. But that's, by the way, Coach. How about Poch telling lies? That may well be a mistake, actually. That's why I don't. I don't. I don't. You can say it's not something I take that serious, in my opinion.
In what regard?
I think mentioning that Middlesbrough beat Brighton 5-1 or so, while the case is vice versa. It's the opposite. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's what I saw. But in my opinion, I think he may have, that could be him just saying what he didn't mean to say. He meant to say that, yeah, I just don't know. But to me, it's nothing. I wouldn't say he's lied. I would say I would just stick with flip-flopping. I don't know. Did anybody see the report? I didn't pay attention to it because I'm not into such. That is more of a gossip than it is actually a report, a gossip that you see people just making up nonsense. But that was said during his presser. For me, I think he was misinterpretation, my opinion, or him saying what he didn't mean to say, probably meant to say the opposite. Can you elaborate on that particular report? Because I hated it that I didn't even pay attention. If you're there, I don't know. Bobby, did you see that? Or Jerry, did you see that? Where
So what reports this, Coach?
mentioned a result about with regards say, I think he said Middlesbrough beat Brighton. While
Oh yeah,
so
the stuff that was supposed to have been said by
Casado.
Caicedo.
Mhm.
Honestly, Coach, it's inconsequential. Whether he said it or not, it means nothing. Honestly, I heard it, I saw it, I was like, well, so what?
Much to
You
do
know,
about nothing, huh?
it's inconsequential completely. I don't need. I just heard it. I just shrugged my shoulders. Well, okay, Middlesbrough beat Brighton. So what? Okay, you know. Yet we shouldn't have lost to Middlesbrough. We know that we had every opportunity to beat them by about 4 or 5 goals. We missed our chances. It's as simple as that. I think we've we've taken the shame. Now it's time to move on, and he's best focusing his energies on the return leg at Stamford Bridge than talking about Brighton and Middlesbrough. And I don't care. It's just as simple as that. I don't care. It doesn't matter, really.
Here's the thing: chances are he lied, but I don't know because I wasn't there, and that's why I
Well,
don't like to
chances
dwell
are
on
he
anything
didn't.
he said. Yeah.
Middlesbrough did beat Brighton, but chances are he didn't say that. This is another thing about this sort of thirst for scandalizing Chelsea
Mm.
publicity. They've just put that out there. And nobody cares. It is such a nonsense that it's not even worth any kind of airtime. I'm just perplexed. It's rubbish, Coach. It really is nonsense. You know.
I'd have to watch the press app because I haven't watched it. I saw bits of that, people talking about discussing it. They said he said Middlesbrough beat Brighton 5-1 or so, and then it turns out Brighton did beat Middlesbrough 5-1. The case was the opposite. So if that's the case, then that one must have been just him making a mistake there, or didn't quite hear what Casado said. So let me not talk too much about it until I see it. Defending Poch so much when so many red flags. Here's then something I'm gonna say, and I did say that on the ground, Potter. Usually it's not a good sign. Usually when you start hearing the media going releasing you could say writing articles on how the hierarchy still supports a manager, usually that's a red flag on its own. You remember we said that last
Yeah.
underground Potter, right, Roger?
Oh,
When
yeah.
yeah, especially when Potter himself was saying he does speak with the owners on daily basis that there are no issues and all that. Once you start hearing that, it's usually not a good sign. But this time it's still the media, and it's still not a good sign. I have a feeling it's not looking good. Things has to change, otherwise he's going to lose his job. Let's see. Chelsea fans deserve Steve Bruce as their new coach. To be honest, Heston, I'd say this. At least Steve Bruce knows how to be. He knows how to be pragmatic. Yeah, but I don't think Paul knows how to be that well. As much as I still think he's here, probably will be here till the end of the season, and he's the man for the job. But that's not me saying certainly he stays. We've been there before. I know you don't like negativity, but gotta cover that. Here's Stan. you get my point. I hope I've elaborated enough for you to understand what I mean. Roger, make sure you use the 3 emojis just comes after dinner, and when Nightbot inevitably times you okay, inevitably times you out as she always does. You can exit via the big up to you, you conductor of the H plate. Not about Silver going to the fans. No, about Silver going to the fans. No, I haven't seen that. No, I haven't seen that. I just don't want to pretend I've seen it. The Blues, good you're here. You need backup. Could he meant Charlton beaten Brighton, but right now, every mistake will be magnified. Yeah, that's just the truth. It's a tough time for him personally, so let it go. That's why I'm saying I'm not paying attention to it. And you've corrected exactly what was said. He meant Charlton, and people, yeah, because of his situation, they will amplify everything he says. The slightest mistake he makes will become huge when it shouldn't be. Yeah, exactly. That was exactly what I was trying to say. It depends. Defending Poch FC. I'm not defending him. I'm just telling you how I see the situation. Flick as interim. Are you kidding me? I heard that, but I think it's still absolute nonsense. In my opinion. Let's see what else we have here. My source is telling me Poch is not under pressure, just like we're seeing on X. Yet I trust him because he was telling me Porter will be sacked while PR was protecting Porter. Okay, let's see what else we have here. I no longer trust in Pochettino. He had a preseason and now over 20 games, no progress. Red flags of Pochettino. I cannot see what he's building. Here's the thing: it's up to the club to deal with him, not me.
The reason, can I just say something?
Just 1 second. Poch is not only a fraud, but also a lying 4-3-3 merchant. Let's hear you. Who was talking? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Coach. The reason why he's not making that much progress is because there's been a lack of continuity because of the lack of availability of players, and then even more concerning.
Exactly.
If you look at the bench that he's been provided with, it might as well have Bobby and I on the bench. It's a shallow bench, and I mean this politely, no disrespect, but it's the last game there was only 2 recognized, shall we say, starters or rotational players. That's it. The rest are very new. You're talking about 2 goalkeepers. One of them is a fetus, and they're all just very. The last game we played, the starting 11 had a median average age of 23.02 years. So 23 years. That's how young. That's with a 39-year-old starting also. So think about that.
Yeah.
And
all right.
also, I would like to say something. It's a disrespect to the game. It's a disrespect to this industry. That what people are saying. To be very honest, which team in any era has developed from the scratch in 6 months? First of all, and we do have so many reasons that Roger and Bobby and I mentioned. So even Klopp, like, let's not go back years. Like, he took a long time. Even Arteta in his first season finished 8th. But no, because it's Pochettino, it's the Lily White's Tottenham smell coming from him. That is the reason. I assure you, if it was Nagelsmann or they preferred people would be backing him. It is really disgraceful to this job and the work that these people do. To completely neglect that and be entitled that we are Chelsea, of course, but it's what he was saying, that we are not the same Chelsea. It's not the same squad that we had under Roman Abramovich. This is what he was trying to say, that it's not that at all times we are entitled. We are rebuilding something. He was trying to rephrase and try to get the people in line that, come on, we have to work hard and it will take time. But the fans are like, no, we are Chelsea. We have to win. So give him a great squad. Give him a squad. People are saying that he would have been sacked under Abramovich, of course, but he would never had this squad under him. So people should respect the work of the people, the industry. Just show me anywhere that any team have been rebuilt in 6 months. Please show me.
Jersey, even to add to your point, I'm glad you mentioned this, Klopp and the mighty Guardiola had shocking first seasons considering the quality they had at their disposal. They had to get rid of players. They had to do so many different things in order to get to where they are now. I remember when in the early days of Guardiola, we went and we thrashed them home and away. Chelsea were a more settled side than they were, and he was still tinkering with his defense, trying to get the right chemistry in his midfield. People don't like to remember these things, and they're attacking Pochettino, in my view, extremely unfairly, where these injuries, whether we like to admit it or not, were part of the blueprint of creating this new team. And the people that we were relying on were not available. This was very, very significant to how he's been able to do his job. I think it will be extremely harsh to judge him, particularly on this first season. Extremely harsh.
But Bobby,
I,
correction. You said we're not available. They still are not available.
oh, there you go. There you go.
You know, present
It, it,
tense as well as past tense.
it just seems I don't understand this lack of reasoning. You know what I'm saying? What do you
Mm.
expect? You're
I don't
looking
get it
for
either.
you're looking for a miracle out of nothing. And that's what I'm not prepared. I mean, there's a particular chap that we all know and used to love. Probably we still do. It's just I think he's lost his head now. I don't even listen to him anymore. The way he comes at it just
Don't
lacks
talk about
any.
coach like that.
you know, it just lacks any source of deductive reasoning.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Logic.
insane. It's childish.
Yeah.
Spit your dummy out the pram. Throw all your toys out the pram. Sorry, because you haven't got your way. Because you can't get your way. Why can't you get your way? The people that are there to give you your way are not there. It's that simple. So we're limping, we're suffering. Look at the team we fielded against Middlesbrough. In all intents and purposes, that was a fledgling, put together, struggling side. You just had to look at the bench.
What
No,
bench?
you know, nobody wants to remember that. We had 12 injuries that day. People are talking about Middlesbrough's injuries. Okay, fair enough. But the fact of the matter is that if you wanted us to go there and spank them up, we did not have the players that could have done that available. I mean, it's not rocket science, but we choose this path of blame, blame, blame. It's all Pochettino's fault. I know he could make certain decisions better, yes, but which coach couldn't? Let's reverse. Go back to Pep Guardiola's first, second, third season with Man City. Jurgen Klopp with Man United, with Liverpool. Sorry, they were not perfect.
Bobby, the
I'm sorry.
players that we started last game, 8 out of the 11 were 23 or younger.
There you go.
That's insanely youthful.
There you go.
All right, let's catch up with what we have. We have to move on to the match preview proper. Yes, let's adopt a 6 phase, 68 one get for model. Arsenal have the FA Cup on their side. We don't see you in the championship. Okay, wait there, and you're not gonna see me there. Arteta has a clear pattern of play since his first game coaching Arsenal. I think this is gonna be the case until either things change or the manager loses his job. Being compromised. Okay, let's see. We are not developing from scratch. It's a transition and overhaul, and no one is demanding a top 6. I just want a pattern at play and a good defense midfield setup, and Here, players. Okay, well, I don't think I understand that quite well. Keep dropping likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. If only Poch was doing the development properly, but he flip flops. And one thing I can agree is that he flip flops. Rehire Frank Lampard. I think maybe a VB. Maybe I'm gonna rewind some of the earlier Chelsea perspective streams because I swear I've heard all this before. Just inside new Geffer's name here. We're talking about Potter. Yeah, I've said that a few days ago. I can't believe right now we're sounding like we did sound on the Potter's era. Yeah, but Frank would actually do better with this team than Poch. Okay, Lampard in for a third time. Anybody? I don't think that happens, but that's just my opinion anyway. We'll find out. The blue is just on auto waffle. That's what else we have here. Dante Bali has slid into Pochettino's DM. We're doomed. Let's see what else we have here. Let's stop defending him. I'm not defending him. I'm just letting us know whatever you do, just be objective with your criticism of him. Factor in some factors you know where an issue where issues are so far this season. In my opinion, that's what I'm saying. Do I think we can do better than Poch? Yeah, but right now I still think he's the right man for the job, and there are there's no top manager available that would take this job without demanding you make a few signings there and probably end up spending close to another billion. But that's just my opinion. Let's move on. Let's get into the match preview proper. We'll start by voting which of the teams do I think will win. I go with Chelsea, and 66% I think Chelsea will win. 16% of thinks he ends in a draw, and 19% of thinks Fulham would beat Chelsea at the Bridge. And for FOTMOB, their predicted Chelsea lineup is this. Of course, Petrovic between the sticks, two centre backs, Desasi and Silva, left back Levi Colwell, right back Malo Gusto, 2-6 Gallagher and Casado. Okay, no Enzo Fernandez this time. Left wing Stalin, 10 Palmer, right wing Noni Madueke, and then number 9 Amanda Broya. Let's see what else we have here. To answer Bobby, Pep for season City was a third club. For season Liverpool were 8. Being in Europa League and League Cup finals where we're losing to Borough. It's halftime for that one. Coach, can we have a lot less fence sitting and ask the panel what happens if we lose to Fulham? They can't. Here's the thing: they will just give you their opinion. They cannot foretell what happens if we lose against Fulham. It's as simple as that. They can only speculate and give you their respective opinions, and that doesn't mean certainly that's what's going to happen. When you say he's the right man for the job, what exactly do you mean? In terms of we have a lot of youngsters, his pedigree is known to nurture young players. And here's the thing, I'm still going to say this. If you've not been paying attention, I still think the number of players we've had out injured. It's a serious factor to consider when you're judging the manager, because on occasions he's had to go with a makeshift defensive line, even sometimes a makeshift midfielders. That's because we had important players out injured. That's not me saying we shouldn't be doing better than we're doing right now. I strongly believe we should be doing way better than we're doing right now, and that brings us back to remembering we did say the same thing on the Potter's tenure. But you get my point. If you're going to judge the man, judge objectively. That's not me saying he's done everything correctly. He's not been perfect, but believe me, I'm going to tell you this: he is the least of our problems. And we'll see if we sack him and get someone else, we'll still see the same thing we saw or we experienced when the club fired Potter and hired Frank Lampard. Even though at the time I was saying that I don't think Potter was it. Yeah, so fire him right now, hire someone else. I think actually chances are the situation, it could go either way. It could go south, it could go north. You don't know. But that's by the way. So let me just ask you the question specifically, Roger. What happens if we lose against Fulham? Do you think he'd lose his job? Do you think he keeps his job?
I think he keeps his job. I don't think there's a question about it. I think I'm assuming that the board of directors understand and they'll look at the fact that his bench is very thin. Have a look. You've got 12 people on the injured list. 12. I mean, that's obscene. I mean, that's a huge degradation. You're looking at a depletion. It's that simple. I think that they'll take that into effect. Listen, we are second only to Liverpool for big chances created. I don't know whether it's big chances created or whether it's XG. I'm not sure. I forget. So I apologize.
I think
But,
I didn't check in the last 2 weeks, but we were fourth in the big chances created, and maybe it has changed, but we missed most number of big chances.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
sorry, the created is fourth. Maybe
Yes.
it will be around that one.
And I think it's XG is second then. It's
yes,
one of the two.
so you
One
can
is fourth.
imagine, right?
Yes.
And we have sorry, sir, and we have 20 Premier League games, so it's not a small sample size. So no one can say that
Exactly.
the stats are not giving an indication. It's a clear pattern.
Yeah, it's a clear pattern of play.
Roger, can I add something to your
Of course,
points?
Bobby.
You see, the thing about these injuries, it's not even so much that Chelsea has a long injury list, but it is the longevity of the injury list.
Mhm.
That list has been long for well over a year. And right from the start of the season, we have never been in a position of having less than 8 key injuries to the team. Nobody survives that.
Yeah.
Nobody. And, you know, blaming it all on Pochettino, this, that, and the other, is just highly impractical. Now, I'm not saying he's the best coach ever to walk the face of this earth. And in fact, before he came to the club, I was very, very against, you know, because, well, to be fair to him, I was against because of the Tottenham background.
Right.
But to be honest, this guy has not really had the tools to work with. And we are so hungry and thirsty to blame someone out of our own hurt that we're looking to, if we can't hang Bowley, we try to hang Igbali. If we can't hang Igbali, we try to hang the medical team. If we can't hang the medical team, we try to hang the kick man. And if we can't hang the kick man,
See,
we
ladies,
go for
next.
Pochettino. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. We just
Yeah.
need to calm down, look at it for what it is, pray that we can somehow find a solution to the injury crisis that has hampered us from even being able to work from an even playing field and move forward. This is not a blame situation. That's why, as Coach rightly said at the beginning, there's a crisis here. And sometimes a crisis doesn't actually have to happen because of somebody. The earthquake in Japan over the New Year period didn't happen because of somebody. It happened. Do you see what I'm saying? And they have to deal with that crisis as it goes along. I know this probably far from the right example, but it just
No, but
came
I
to my
get it.
head, really.
Yeah. I get it.
You know, because you started this thing of speaking Japanese, Roger. That's what it is. So,
Arigato.
you know what I'm saying?
Konnichiwa.
So you know, it's I just wish we could have a, I know everybody has a right to their opinion, and you know, Coach wouldn't have a show if we didn't have these crazy things to discuss. But I just wish sometimes at some points there'll be a weekend where the fan base will look at this thing and say, wow, you know, there's a lot we're dealing with here. Let's not, you know, act like a bunch of babies.
Honestly, I think our expectations are unrealistic based on the circumstances. You know, once you take that into consideration, then we need to recalibrate our expectations. It's that simple. Being
Period.
being unrealistic. I mean, listen, you saw Liverpool 2-3 years ago miss a few very important players. One of them, obviously, was their centre
Van
back Van
Dijk.
Dijk. Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
And actually, I think also his partner too. And you know, I think they lost like 7 games consecutively at home, which is unheard of, you know, for them. And you know, guess what? That's what happens when you lose key players. It's just a fact. It's so
All right.
that needs to
Go
really
ahead.
be taken into consideration. And I don't know. I really feel that the narrative against our coach, I think you're right, Bobby. It has to do with the fact that he coached Spurs once, because if he had not, I don't think we would be this unrealistic. But regardless of that, I think that the fan base needs to be far more respectful and understanding of what's transpiring.
All right, thank you. Please, I'm going to try and catch up with what we have so we get to the match preview. Coach always has a job in the Ghanaian parliament if the Chelsea perspective goes sideways, and you know it will never. So thank you for saying God forbid there. What else do we have? I'm not going to be reading quite a lot. I want to get to the very bottom. He keeps his job. I think he keeps his job too. Coach, you didn't answer my question. What you seen that he's the man. I just told you. He's the man for the job given his pedigree with regards to his ability to nurture young players. He's not done it in a single place. He's done it in multiple clubs, Southampton, Tottenham, and the Spanish club he coached. Here's what I'm going to say is this. I'm not defending him. I've told you guys before, I don't think he's been perfect. But the truth remains, he's the least of our problems. If we're being truthful, that's just my argument.
Yeah.
I'm not into pointing and saying, yeah, he's the sole reason why we're struggling. I'm not into that, and you know that too. I'm not sure what else to say. Our home record has actually improved. Yeah. How many games
Yes,
have
it
we won
has.
at home in a row? If we're
It
paying
has.
attention. So I'm not into saying, okay, he's the sole reason why we're struggling and stick with that. No, we have other issues. For instance, he's not the sole reason why we struggle to beat teams that defend deep. We just don't have the personnel that are very good at doing that. Yeah, you cannot
Coach, can
perform magic when
I
you
add
have
one
all the
thing?
players you have are just good at being effective when there are spaces for them to exploit. So when teams defend deep, by default, they're going to struggle. So please, I want to catch up with what we have here so we get into the match preview. Jerry, see where you're saying something, please. A minute
No,
or
with
two.
all due respect to our fans, I just wanted to just summarize what's the issue. Because I believe it has to do with the fan base used to the winning under Roman Abramovich model. So, as my good friend Dante just said, Coach, you didn't answer the question. What you have seen that the man that he is the man for the job. So, what you have seen, to be very honest, if you ask me, I haven't seen a lot. But that is the thing which people are not understanding, that once you're rebuilding, once you are in a crisis, once there are so many issues, it takes time with all the work, with all the efforts, with all the resources to work at place, and then the results will come. And then we will see patterns of play. So right now it's not there. So people are making a conclusion based on the 5 6 months, the 20 Premier League games we have played, and they think this is it. This is how Pochettino's team will be, and if he stays here, so we will struggle. So this conclusion is a very false narrative, because this is not even 10% of what it will be with proper players, with players coming back from the injury. So every team that has rebuilt, there is always this period of struggle. And if you ask me what I have seen, I have still seen enough. I can choose and look at games against Brentford or Middlesbrough or some of these games, or I can go and see games against Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City with a very young squad, give me motivation and a very good profile of Pochettino working with young players. If it were Vincent Company or an unknown coach, we could question, but he has delivered at least with the young squad. So this is at least how I see it. This is how I analyze. So yeah, so this is what I wanted to share.
All right.
All I have to say is, one thing. When you said it's not there yet, I think it's not there yet consistently, because it has been, as you said, been there occasionally.
And I'm quite sure, yeah. And I'm quite sure a lot of us here celebrated like crazy when we drew against Liverpool, when we nearly beat Man City. You could argue that we're lucky we ended in a draw. But and here's the thing, something else I want to say quickly, but we really have to move on to this. Personally, I want to say quickly is this. Here's the thing. I'm not defending him, and you already know that. I'm just trying to be as objective as possible. I did not come into the season expecting Chelsea. I've said this a billion times, but I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm going to be saying it until maybe I get to a zillion times. I did not come into the season expecting Chelsea to play at the same level as Man City, Liverpool, Brighton, even Newcastle United. That was why I keep telling. At the time I always did say, yeah, we would do well. How well, I don't know. But I'm not going to go to the extent of saying we'll finish in a certain, like you say, certain finish somewhere on the table or there in the table or anywhere, because I knew we have an entirely new squad, a new manager, lots of young players, and kids will always be kids. So I can't just dump the whole thing on the manager because maybe I'm frustrated here and there. No, I won't. I'll try to be as objective as possible. But thank you, Constantine Dante, for that. That's why we're here. Potter was XG merchant too, isn't it? Not as much as we have right now. Sam's Vibes, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with. The boys gave everything. I watched Di Matteo win a semifinals final with making with walking wounded. I ain't got time for purchase of fraudulent behavior. Burrow had 12 injuries and added 2 more. Let me just get through this so that we can get to the match preview. I remember you in one particular game, the beautiful game. We went into that game, I think first half of the game, you were in the chat glorifying how well we played on the day. And saying, you did see the interplay, did you see that, did you see that? And by the time the game ended, you turned into a different person altogether. And I'm quite sure you remember that particular game in question. But go ahead, Bobby. I really want us to get to the match preview because this is going to be going. Yeah. It's a good conversation, but it's going to go on forever.
It is. And I was trying to stay quiet because I know you want to progress, but I must respond to that statement about the person that said, I watched Chelsea with 2 injured sort of defenders win the Champions League. He's referring to the Battle of the Allianz. Yes, that's very, very true. And it's very, very Chelsea. But the issue here, that was a one-off. The problem we're facing is the longevity of the injury crisis. If Chelsea had to play with injured centre-backs like we did at the Champions League final every week, we wouldn't be winning games. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't win anything. But the fact that it just happened once and those guys dug deep and managed to survive the game.
Also a seasoned team.
Yeah, exactly. So the problem we have is not just the injuries, but the longevity of injury. And that's why we are, for want of a better word, defending Poch, because it's rather unfair to start to judge him in a situation that is absolutely beyond his control. Sorry, but I just had to get that in there.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. It's an excellent conversation, actually. It's just that we're here to preview a game. So maybe we should do a Poch review. Poch so far. Yeah, 6 months into it or whatever title. May he not turn out like him. May he win all games from now on. I don't like a club losing always. Though it's like he will be sacked someday in the future. Heston, Chelsea, he doesn't own Chelsea. There's no anything such you can say anything that says he remains Chelsea's manager forever. But we'll find out. Every good thing comes to an end, and I'm not saying it's that good that he will never come to chances are that he will not come to an end. Yeah, the boys gave everything out there against Borough. So proud of them. I didn't like that statement either. Sack him and hire Steve Bruce. He do well. At least he knows how to fight a relegation, because sacking him will compound the situation. Let me just let you know that he had the tools which he let go because owners wanted a pure profit. Hall and Matson. No. Here's the thing. Hall wanted to leave because he wanted game time. Matson also, he didn't see him as a left back. So the pure profit thing actually, it just doesn't, to me, I disagree. I don't subscribe to that narrative, in my opinion. I think it's just people, but let me just leave it at that. Coach, can you ask Roger and Bobby if there's a manager that they would not like to see at Chelsea? Okay, Roger, you heard that. Let's hear you, and then I'll scroll to the very bottom. In all honesty, I think this is just stretching
So
the
if you
questions.
allow me, it's a question that is asked by Roger, and Roger will answer that. But just to facilitate Roger, maybe if it's not in his mind, just one quick thing, if you allow me. Of course, if we would go back again, because there's only one manager, right? So probably we might, well, all of us, including me, will pick a different manager. Pochettino was not my first choice, but since he is in the job, I believe Roger will concur, probably. Now we are trying to back him because of his past and his profile. Now the people who are turning it in a way that is he the best manager or he's the best choice? No. But right now with what the squad we have, he's good enough, right? And it gives him he deserves time to see what he could do with this squad. So this question is more valid if we go back at the time when we were picking up a manager. So Roger, please continue. I just wanted to add this.
Yeah, no, I get it. I would say two managers that I would never want to be coaching Chelsea would be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ten Hag. Period.
Good choices right there. But you want to add to that, or should I just move on? Really, let's get this done. I don't want the show to stretch too much. Really, it's enjoyable, but
Yeah, you can move on, I think.
All right. So, Coach, can you? I've asked him the question, and he's saying Poch is coaching to keep his job more, not really to develop youth as the project should be. This is an argument you could say I understand. I understand this argument, and you know me too well. I agree with this one because sometimes it seems like he's not. We call it a project, but yet he's not prioritizing the youth we have to play them. We have nothing to lose. Develop them this season, and believe me, we can actually get good results with the younger players in the team who've spent so much money to buy. Yeah, we did make this some argument on the ground, but too. I know Roger will recall quite
How
well.
much younger do you, Coach? How much younger do you want to go?
No,
The
I'm just
guy is
saying, no,
playing
but
with
that's an
kids as
argument
it
that makes
is.
sense. We have these young players. For instance, Raheem Sterling starting over Mudryk sometimes just doesn't make sense, even when he's in poor form. I think that I'm quite sure that's one of the reasons why he's mentioning that.
Okay.
Yeah. Not just because he just wants us to start young players for the sake of it. He's specifically probably saying that because we've had Raheem Sterling start games, finish games when he shouldn't finish games.
No
And here's the
argument from
one.
me.
Nah, let's see how they keep dropping likes on the stream, people. I'm just gonna say hello to a lot of people. I really do want to get to the very bottom. Let's get the review done. Wait, what was the poll result about Poch the other day? I think it was around. I think a lot of people now wants him out. Yeah, I think it was 80-something% of plus
Wow.
the rest. Yeah, a lot of people want him out. Yeah, I recall that.
Bloody
But
hell.
a month ago, it was. I think if you do it today, probably the result will be different. I think emotions were high that day. That was
Sure.
immediately after the loss to
Borough.
Borough. Yeah, it fluctuates. I'm quite sure if you know what, I'm gonna do a poll on the community tab. That way we can reach more people and have good enough sample size. I can assure you it will differ that much in the sense that probably it will be almost 50-50. That's because people have come down a bit. When you do polls immediately after a loss, yeah, you get a lot of the manager out. Yeah. So, but let's see. It's too much, and let's see what else we have here. So, it's an injury-plagued Middlesbrough. The lineup. I mean, you could say that too. That's why we all agree. Well, we should win them. And Darko is saying has nothing to do with coaching spots. Most people backed Poch in the beginning, including myself. We just asking questions, which is correct.
Not most of the people
hold on,
that
please. Let's move
Pochettino.
on from
It's
that.
not a fact. Most of the people were against Pochettino's being named the manager.
A lot of people were from the start. Let's be honest there. We all had hated Benitez, but he backed us 2 trophies and dipped. So that was at least a mutual respect for that. Did he win us 2 trophies?
He won us the Europa League for sure. I'm not sure about a domestic cup. I can't recall.
I'm not sure anything else. I think it was just that one. Okay, let's wait till the end of the season. Let's see. You can beat a treble winning Man City for the most of 90 minutes, but you cannot beat Preston, Luton, and well, bro. First leg.
Again,
If the system. JJ, let me just get through this, please. Let's move on, please. I beg you. Please.
one thing, if I can quickly add in 20 seconds. This is about low block, right? Of course, in the 5 months, and so far we have struggled. Pochettino's Tottenham, he said it's nothing to do with it. We're the second best team against low blocks, only second to Man City in over 5 seasons. It's not a Pochettino's problem. Don't get me on the facts and statistics and all the analytics. I will come back. If there's something that is wrong, I will come and redirect that.
Yeah, Coach, what are your expectations? Just win as many games as possible. It's as simple as that. Gresho and big up to the panel. Anyways, we agree, but it's all, we don't agree, Tiger. You know we don't agree. I know your vein runs Poch out if there's anything like that. May we win all our matches? Yeah, we all love our club. We're having a conversation here because we do care about our club. Keep hitting the like button, people, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Prince Mohaz says the problem with our fan base is that they cry with sack up Pochettino, but the real question is who replaces him. Can you give the name of an elite manager that's available and would like to take the job? Yep. Like I was saying the other day, I can see players losing faith in him. His decision-making, tactics, discipline, etc. Can keep. Let's find out if that's the case. But right now, I haven't seen anything that makes me believe that's the case. Just go away. You're going to that place, and I've told you that. Bobby Boro could have said the same thing. Isn't 12 injuries cannot win against a team like Chelsea, but there's a manager cannot. His thing, I'm not sure what to make of that. I'm tired of that argument, really. Cam, nice to see you. In times like this, I wish I was a pro soccer player rather than waiting in line to be enrolled. Cam, nice to see you here. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Comments versus pan. Yeah, that was a war, really, but that's why we're here to talk. Okay, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. That's it. Vic, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you so much. 37 likes. That's not easy, and that's because we haven't actually streamed at this time of the day for a while right now. Sterling should go. Going isn't easy. That's because we pay so much for him. To get any club to pay us anything close to what would be acceptable to us, it's very difficult. Jerry has a better coach. Tap in. Just go away. No, wasn't against Poch. Most people accepted, but he has proved he's not good enough. I haven't seen anything from him. Okay, if that's how we feel, we'll find out. We hated Potter so much. Poch was like a tall glass of Kool-Aid. Oh, wow. I also backed him as a coach. As coach say, because he can do well with youth develop, but he has not done that. No evidence, actually. Getting worse, he's not doing what he was brought in to do. All right, we move on, and the last one, Jerry Magic, what he does, and that is Poch defending. You guys cannot opt out of that show. We have to do that show on Jerry's YouTube channel. It has to happen. You cannot opt out, Tiger, and Jerry cannot opt out. So let's go. This I don't know why they left Enzo Fernandez out. Is he injured? But let's see injuries for both teams. We have Nicholas Jackson is not injured. He's on AFCON duty. We have Wesley Fofana late March 2024. Trevor Chalobah, the manager said he's available, right? Or did he so say he's training?
He's training.
He's training. So yeah, we have to make do with what we have. So I'm not gonna be saying I don't think he plays for Chelsea again. If he's ready, he plays, and I can assure you, I've always argued that I'd take him over some of the defenders we have right now, but I don't think it makes sense to name any defenders we have. Romeo Lavia, a few days, good sign. Robert Sanchez, late January. Reece James, early April. Mark Correa, late February, and we have Leslie Ugochukwu, unknown. Christopher Nkunku, unknown. Connie Chukwuemeka, doubtful, so that's a good sign. Benoit Badiashile, Duffel, that's a good sign. Ben Chilwell, Duffel, 1, 2, 3, 4, all good signs. Unknown, I don't like to talk about them. And for them, they have Alex Iwobi, on international duty for Nigeria. Kevin Bassi also for Nigeria. International duty. Who's this? Fode Balo. I don't know him. Probably maybe Ghana or some African country. And Tyrese Late. I don't know him. Steve. I don't know him. They don't have, but they have 3 important players out. Iwobi and Kevin Bassi both are 2 important players to them. So let's see. To be honest, in any circumstance, will you see Sterling in my own lineup? That man needs to get out of my club. His inconsistency makes us lose games. If he starts tomorrow, I think he's probably starts. Someday for sure, sir. No fighting the right time zone. Yeah, we'll find a way to make it happen. Here's the thing. If all agree, then we don't have a show. I think it would be an interesting show for people to watch, and I'll help promote it very well. No, I'm not gonna watch that debate anymore because really we know the outcome already. No,
We don't
you
know
have
the
something in
outcome.
mind that you think will be the outcome, but we have to judge.
Yeah.
We have to judge the points Jerry makes or the points that Tiger makes on the day. We'll record it mostly. Let's see. Coach, just play 2 banks of 2 banks of 5. It's a Fulham, aka Prime Barcelona. Wow. Let's see. I'm not watching tomorrow's game. Chelsea will give me heart problems. Yeah, you're better off. William will score. That's the only thing. I think he scored against us the last time we played, or last season, I think so. I will be watching the game from behind the sofa. Yeah, it will be good for you. Solin doesn't start for me, but I think he starts. Jerry did flip once already, but then somersaulted back.
No, I did not. Can I quickly clear it?
No,
Because some people-
Jerry, you flipped. You
No, I
joined.
did.
There was a
I did
time
not.
you were saying Poch out.
Yes, I did. But can I make it very, very quick with my time, with your time? Sorry. Just to be clear, not because I worry what people are saying. It's people say I flipped and said Poch out. Yes, I did. First of all, after Man United games, Roger knows, how much I hate Man United, and I was very, very disappointed and angry at Pochettino. If I'm backing him, it doesn't mean that I don't criticize him or I cannot criticize him. That was the worst game we played was against Man United.
Yeah.
And that is not the primary reason. I see I have to be very short. So because what's going on even till now, I figured out, and I said, as an analyst, I said, if, of course, I'm not that good enough, if I was working for Chelsea board, I would recommend them to sack Pochettino because the fans really are not behind him. Get another manager. You guys will get some time. They will back the new manager. So I said in that context to sack Pochettino because fans really don't like him and are not supporting him. So I personally was never Poch out.
All right, thank you so much. Let's see what else we have here. We have to look at the insights and ask questions. So start Mudrik. Let's see what the manager does. So emotions were high on the day. Just go away. Let's see. Jerry graduated from the Chelsea Perspective School of Waffling. Professor Pochettino has 100% student pass rate. You are going to the H place. You're actually the conductor of that place, if you don't know. Let's see what else we have here. Insights. Let's read the insights here. Insights say Chelsea were ranked 8 in goals scored per match. That has improved.
Wow.
We were, I think, we were 14th, so we're scoring more goals right now. Ranked 12th in goals scored, so they're averaging 1.4. We're averaging 1.7, so we're averaging, you can say, at least 1 goal per game. Have been awarded the most penalties. We overtook Arsenal a while ago on that one, and have conceded the most penalties this season, 5 in total. And the last item here, Chelsea have won 2 previous matches against Fulham. Fulham are ranked 15th in goals conceded per match. That they concede at least 1.8 goals per game, and that's which means that they are most likely to concede, and we're most likely to outscore them. If we're going by the insights alone, we will beat them. But yeah, you cannot script football. Let's see. In the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, they lost 3 and won 2. In our last 5 games, we won 3 and lost 2. We lost our last game. They lost their last game too. So you can say pretty even. Let's see how many goals they scored in total in their last 5 games. They scored 1 here, 2, and then 4. 4 in total, and we scored 4 here, and this one here, 7, 9, and 10 in total. So we scored more goals than them in the last 5 games. How many did we concede? We conceded 1 here. We conceded 2 here. 1, and then okay, that's a 3. That's 5 in total. 6 in total, and they've conceded 2, 5, 6, and then 9, 8 in total. So they've conceded more than us. So it's looking good. But
did anyone see the Liverpool Fulham game?
Sorry?
Did anyone watch the Liverpool Fulham game?
I didn't watch it.
I did. Willian's goal against Liverpool. He was.
Sorry, go ahead, Roger.
He was so composed. He hasn't lost it. He really hasn't. But they looked good against. Well, at least the first 60 minutes, they looked really good. Listen, and that was at. That was in Liverpool. So this is going to be. This is our local rival. This is a game that is very passionate. It's going to be a good game. They're going to be up for it. We cannot underestimate them.
And Willian, he still has pace in him.
Yeah, and he certainly is still bloody clinical. I mean, he's one of my favorite ever players for Chelsea. He's just he's a player to behold. He really is. He oozes class. He really does.
Yeah. He's that sort of player. If Ancelotti has him, you think he's 16. Because Ancelotti values experience so much. He did that at AC Milan, at PSG. He doesn't let players go. If you're good, you're good. And if you're taking good care of yourself, you have a place in his team. Willian, I don't know what. Sorry?
He's a consummate professional.
Yeah, he is. He takes good care of himself. He's an excellent footballer. He's still probably going to play next season and the season following season. Yeah.
And he doesn't go off. He doesn't go away injured for months.
No, he doesn't. Months. Yeah, but
he's an emotional high level.
I think he's an emotional individual because at Chelsea, his biggest problem was Hazard starting over him on occasions. Didn't like that.
Listen, he only ever had 2 bad games for Chelsea, and one of them was his immediate arrival from flying back from Brazil because one of his parents passed away. So in essence, which is
when his mom passed away. So I remember the whole players. Diego Costa scored on the day and was making the M sign, I think, so, or W sign for Willian. I think I saw something like that.
And Willian was just not himself. You could tell it was like for obvious reasons. And so when you look at his entirety of his tenure with Chelsea, to say that he had one other bad game, that's incredible. Because you can't tell when the whistle blows when a game starts to the 90th plus minute. You cannot tell which minute he's playing at because he plays with such energy, with such veracity. He's an incredible athlete. He's slowed down a bit now, which is only understandable, but he's skillful.
He has excellent footballing intelligence, and that carries
that, and the fact that he's very technical and very he has the ability to play at such a high level at such a fast pace. He's a freak of nature, and to me, he'll always be a Chelsea great.
Oh yeah, I respect him. I think he was, you can say, underrated. He's that player that if you don't understand football, you don't know how good he is. Honestly, let's see what else we have here. Jerry is magic. People don't like him because of Poch. Yeah, he's defensive Poch. He's like a Roger underground Potter. Yeah. But it's all love. That's why we're here, to debate and enjoy the shows. Coach, I have to praise the panel for their press resistance. Yeah, you guys tried, but we did well. We've been pinging balls into your back four, into your back four,
Down
and you
the
guys
channel.
are just putting the ball into Rosie. Big up to you two, nonsense man. No, I like Jerry, but he got too close. He got too close to Poch after reading his book. It's a common symptom. I like that one. I like that one. There.
That was good.
Let's see what else you have here. I did. You're afraid of him? Let's say, yeah. William was fire. What a player he is. Yeah, well done. Chat. We silenced them. No, we won. You guys didn't beat us. We beat you. If Fulham played like they did against Liverpool, and we did like we did against Luton, Preston, and Borough, my days are it's gonna be 3-1. I don't think we'll play like that. I think if they come, if they come to the bridge and play like they want to win, then we'll win. But if they
Yeah.
defend deep, it's gonna be a long day.
I don't think they will,
Let's
Coach. That's not in
sorry.
their DNA.
Yeah, it's okay. You see, and this is saying Anthony Robinson and William on that right hand side will be a problem. Let's see what the manager does. Do you think they will target Captain Cole? Here's the thing. Marco Silva would be stupid not to try that. At least try, let alone that it didn't work. I think he will. He's a smart manager. He's underrated, but I think I've seen tactically. I think he's excellent. Actually, he reads the game
Yeah,
so
he is.
well. Everton went just patient with him. Here's the thing. He will try that. If Levi Colwell starts in the left back position, it's an issue, and I don't blame Colwell. He's not traditional left back. They would target him. Yep. And it's not like our 2-6s that have been doing well enough to read the game so well that if Colwell makes a mistake, they'd be there to cover for him. No. Well, even if Colwell makes a mistake, you won't see them anywhere. It's that sort of situation. If we had Kante, just play him in the placement of the 2-6s, play him on the left-hand side. Nothing goes beyond the Colwell that he will not read so well and stop. Unfortunately, we're there. And I think the most the manager would do would be to play Guston as left back and play maybe the Sassi right back and select another pairing for the two center backs, or maybe Gilchrist right back. And remember, we had during the pregame show that Gilchrist got the opportunity to play. I told you guys he was going to play in the right back position because that's where the manager tested him, and lo and behold, that happened. Yeah, I think he would. Fulham coach doesn't even need to do anything much. Just put up left back Cowell as a tactic. Yeah, I mean, it's an issue. We all know where Cowell will start. Injuries. Though Chilwell wants to start, but he wouldn't be given much minutes. Yeah, as a precautionary measure, he's not ready, which makes sense. Yeah. Coach, the panel are only winning because you have Anthony Taylor on the panel. Jerry Z, just go.
That's bloody funny.
Yeah. How are they winning the Blue? Yes, then. The question I want to ask. Let's start with Jerry. He's into numbers. Roger, I'll come to you. Roger, Jerry Z, given the numbers we've gone through, what do you think? Do you think we're winning this one if we're basing our judgment on the insights we've looked at? How many goals they've considered in their last 5 games, how many they've scored. We've scored them, and we considered less. They considered more, and we score more per game than them, and they concede more per game than us. So, but if we're going by that alone, it does suggest that we will beat them. But what do you think?
Again, like if we have to look into the numbers and all of that, we need to identify a pattern. Even if we see these 5 games we are seeing, and then we go back to the previous 5, and then subsequently the previous 5, there is absolutely no pattern. As I was saying before in one of the podcasts, someone called me and said, "What do you think? I want to put some money on this game." I said, "You can put on money on any game. Don't put any money on Chelsea game because there is no pattern to that. There is absolutely no trend so far. So even if you take these 5 games, the last 5 games, it doesn't tell a story. What it tells us is that we have been good in fewer games, inconsistent in the others, and that is the story.
We are consistently inconsistent.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So we don't have, even as an analyst, I cannot read so far, or I'm sorry, like I am not able to figure out a pattern so far. And I can understand that's why people are so skeptical and are have given up on this team and Pochettino. So, but my arguments are already there. What I have said, that this is just a turbulent time, and we have to go through it. So I really don't cannot see too much into these last 5 games of both Fulham and Chelsea. So it won't tell a story. What I can do is look into the game we played. This is the second game we are playing, right? So we already played them at Craven Cottage 1-0. That
So
was
I
a
think we did.
magnificent
Yeah.
performance. That
So
was a great.
we're actually into the second half of the season right now.
Yep. So that was a great performance, and if Roger, Bobby, and all the people can remember, that was really refreshing. Those first half that we played and played them on the counter. Modric scored, Perez scored. So it depends. Right now, I believe it has to do with the nerves, with the pressure. If we can concentrate and able to come back as where we were a few weeks ago. Of course, we do have still. I still believe we have a better team. We need momentum, and in my opinion, of course, we can win this game. But to look into this number and suggest anything, it will be difficult. And again, Fulham has improved. When we defeated them at that time, Fulham have improved. They are playing well, generally, given their profile and their resources. And so, yeah, if we want to talk about the game, then it's probably not a rocket science. We'll keep the ball as usual, especially playing at home. Try to create many chances, and we have to be careful with the Fulham counter attacking us. So again, I really believe that we will have better opportunities only if we can take them.
Yeah, there is one
All right.
caveat
Yeah, go
though.
ahead, Roger.
There is one huge caveat. A certain Mr. Anthony Taylor on the field.
Oh yeah. I forgot actually.
Yeah, it's this.
How
This.
is this still officiating games for the FA really? He
Yeah,
made mistake to an extent that he was punished by sending him to go and officiate in the championship. But let's hear you.
that's the $64,000 question, isn't it? Really, it's farcical. But I have to agree. I'm interested in what Bobby has to say, but I have to agree with everything that Jerry said. I think after watching the Liverpool Fulham game and our game,
just quickly, Bluetooth again didn't know. Yes, it's Anthony Taylor.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, welcome to the party. It's a joke, but the fact that listen, we must score first. We cannot afford to concede first because we want them to be on the offensive. This way, we can dissect them more, because we have proven. I think it's not an understatement to say that we have tremendous difficulty in breaking down a low block. We just have showed this propensity where we are unable to, for a myriad of reasons, different reasons. But this is the one thing. But the good news is that Fulham does not usually employ these tactics. They usually play free-flowing football. They're quite expansive. So they're
well drilled too.
Yeah. This bodes well for Chelsea in many regards. But you know what, though? They carved open Liverpool on several occasions. And I believe Liverpool are more solid defensively, currently speaking, than Chelsea. So I'm a little bit wary about that. But other than that, I want to see us who we believe is going to be playing. But I'm concerned. We need to boss the midfield. This is the key.
Yeah, we've seen the injury list. We know who's out and who's in. I don't know, Bobby, you have anything to add, or should we go into the lineup building exercise?
I slightly beg to differ. I don't think we are struggling as much to break down a low block since Luton, and certainly we didn't struggle against Middlesbrough. In fact, we tore them apart and opened them up on several occasions. Our problem is, can we finish?
Mm.
And this is what, how many chances do you waste? Because if
Small
you waste
technicality, Bobby.
chances, when you waste chances, you are eventually punished.
Yeah.
Certainly in the Premier League. So that's what we're going to have to be wary of um, against Fulham. Now, Fulham are a good outfit. Will they play a low block? I don't think so. It's not how
Yeah.
they play. Just as Roger alluded to, they're quite expansive and they're good at finishing. They've got enough maturity in the likes of Willian. They have a very good tactician in their manager. But the thing is, with this young fledgling Chelsea side, is which Chelsea will we see? Because they've shown us that they are more than capable of matching up with the best. And if they are in that mood, then it's curtains for Fulham. But if they're in the mood of missing chances and I was going to say a very nasty word for him, but I've bitten my tongue. Mr. Sterling goes into his inconsistency mood, then it's a long day tomorrow. That's the thing with these guys. So let's hope that they have enough recovery and enough from the injuries back to perform to their best. One thing I really want to see tomorrow is I want to see Brozier start. I think we need to start seeing that. It's
I think
if
he's gonna start. Probably the managers, you can say thinking was to rest him, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if he's fit enough to do that,
Mhm.
then we're slowly beginning to turn corners. Because he has not been starting for a while because we're trying to nurture him back to fitness. These are the inhibitions that we have, which makes us unstable and inconsistent. If we have a consistent level of fitness, we have a different argument to present. Interesting game tomorrow. It really is. I really don't know how it's going to pan out.
Yeah, we'll find out. I hope we win, but yep, you don't know what to expect. Yep, I seen that. This one also. I'm just gonna scroll to the very bottom. Yep, he didn't know Anthony Taylor was will officiate the game, so he thinks Fulham will now win 4-0 because it's Anthony Taylor. Yeah, yeah. We are going down. Anthony Taylor comes with a mission versus Chelsea. Yeah. Hi coach, hi
That's
Richmond.
very true.
It's nice to see you. We need to lose. Okay, yeah, maybe you need to say that. So maybe because every time you say we need to win, we've lost. So say we need to lose. Well coached teams know how to break low blocks more of the time. Yep, reading tear apart Borough. Let's see what we have here. If you base it on possession, yeah, 80%. Possession these days, I
We
don't pay
had
attention to them.
5 clear-cut chances which we fluffed.
Yeah.
We opened them up. There's
Hundred
no,
percent, 100%.
Yeah,
yeah,
I still I just let people express themselves, but I was still if I'm speaking, doing checking, you could say doing some reflection on the game myself. I always go back to that. Bobby, sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right. When we talk of struggling with a low block, is when we can't even open them up like we did with what was that team where we looked absolutely clueless? Was it Forest or I've forgotten who it was? But since then, we haven't been. At Luton, we opened them up. It's just towards the end we became tactically naive to hold on to our lead when they threw their physicality at us. So
Mhm.
low blocking is not our problem. Finishing is our problem. And once we start to finish, then it's a whole different ball game. But as we've said from the beginning, what Chelsea will we see tomorrow? Nobody knows.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I was running jokes, not knowing Taylor was refereeing the game. I'm a bit more worried about this game now. Yeah, let's see. We have to stop Liverpool as left back. Let's see what the manager does. And I think we are gonna break a Twitter tomorrow, coach. Yeah, it will happen. Depends on the out. You can say whatever the outcome is tomorrow. I think Twitter will catch fire tomorrow. Sterling has broken his personal best poor game record. He made history by surpassing 7 games. Yeah, he's gone 7 games now without performing. Poch comments, I am so proud of him and for the team. Big up Glenn. Glenn 10, nice to see you. I appreciate you joining Glenn. Glenn's other account was hacked. So he's trying to regain his connections. I think it's up to 16 right now. If you haven't, please find him again and follow him. Let's help him get there. Big up Coach Panel and Chat. I am so late. We'll probably rewatch at the beginning. Take all the time you need, brother. Breaking news: some players are getting concerned about Poch taxes, and we have to stop using Cowell in the left position. Okay. Let's see. We scored 4 versus City. Burnley and Spurs we can score, but it's just the inconsistency. The inconsistency will always be a concern, brother. Glenn 10, another soldier for the case. Glenn is on my side, not on your side. You know that. So let's do this. I usually do my research at home, so you don't have to worry about the goalkeeper. Petrovic. So don't bother yourself. Yeah, I do the difficult work for the panelists so they don't go too much stress trying to figure it out. Roger, let's hear you. You're back for. Let's hear you. Then if anybody, if we differ, if we don't have a uniform decision on the panel, then we'll have to use the poll to decide.
I think it's going to be the same until we get other players back. I believe it's going to be Colwell.
Colwell on the left. Okay, left to right.
Silva, Disasi, Gusto. I really do. I think that's his settled back 4 currently, based on the availability, because Badiashil's just coming back, and our right wing backs, we've got 2 missing. So I understand the concept of playing Gusto on the left and playing Gilchrist on the right, but I think for him to start a game like this with a big derby like this for Chelsea, I think it's too early, too soon for him. But I wouldn't be I wouldn't be opposed to it in some regards, but I just don't see Poch doing that.
Yeah, I don't see him doing that either. But if we were up to us, let's say if we're doing preferred lineup, would have Gusto on the left and Gilchrist on the right, but we know fully well that he's not going to do that. Let's see. The fans are turning against Levi Colwell. I think it's lack of understanding. It's not his fault that he's been told to play there. I will only highlight why he's making the mistake he's made. I'm not going to blame him.
You know what? We're all making mistakes at the back. I mean, everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a comedy of errors. It really is. That needs to stop. It's to me, we are being erroneous in both boxes. Going forward in our opponent's box, we're missing opportunities, and we're gifting opportunities defensively for our opponent. So it's not a good combination. We need to cut this out. Period.
Yeah. Jeremy, let's hear you. You're back 4.
Yeah, so I agree with Roger, and it also shows the depth that we have right now. Yeah, so in my opinion, I believe this will be the back 4 for tomorrow.
Yeah, Bobby, how about you? Do you differ?
I will differ only on the basis of what I think is safe. I don't want to see Silva tomorrow. I think this is a game that will show his age a little bit. This is a game that's taking place, 3 days after?
It's a London derby, by the way, right?
Exactly. Oh, yeah. It's going to be very frenetic. And his recuperation time, when Silva plays back-to-back games, he starts getting slower. And this is not a game for that. So we're left with a conundrum. I don't know how fit Badiashile is, but now I think Poch will go with the same, to be honest. But if I put my preference in view of the fact that a few days after that we've got Borough again in a game that we absolutely must win, if I put my preference in, I would have Colwell and Desasi in the middle. Centre backs, left back, I would try Gusto. Right back, I would try Gilchrist because they're far more mobile and they would be able to keep pace with the likes of Willian and the other guy they've got on the right, or is it on the left, which we're going to have to against Fulham. But I can see Pochettino repeating much of the same, probably to his detriment, because we need to have Silva coming off the bench. I hope I'm right that he doesn't, but I wouldn't be
How many days
surprised
in
if he
between?
does.
That's like 4 days, right?
Yeah,
Is it
I think
4?
he'll probably play
yeah,
Silva
it's
again.
4.
He will probably do it, but Silva 2 games a week. I mean, really, you're pushing it. I know we're injury ravaged and all that, but this is a 39-year-old man. No matter how fit he keeps himself, sometimes his conditioning, because of his age, shows. But that's Pochettino. He will play Silva, and goodness knows he'll try and play him again against Middlesbrough, which is the problem. This guy needs to come off the bench. Honestly, he really needs to come off the bench. But that will be the back four, probably. Silva, the Sassy, Colwell on the left, and Gusto on the right. What else?
I
I
think it's
think
out of
that's.
necessity.
Mhm.
It is largely necessity.
Mm.
But you see, this is the thing. And then the fan base will start screaming and shouting and spitting feathers if we struggle. Injuries have affected us, whether they like it or not. This is why we're doing this. That's your back four, coach.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do this anyway. But that's fine. We keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 40 likes, that's not easy, given the fact that we haven't streamed at this time of the day for a while now. 260s, I still think it will still be the usual suspects. Still be Casado. It will still be Enzo Fernandez. Yeah. Does anybody differ? Can we, or should we just go ahead?
I don't think Enzo starts.
Why?
He might come off the bench because
Why?
Enzo is still struggling, and that's why he was substituted. I think the pivot will be Caicedo Gallagher. I really
You
do.
think so?
100%.
Okay, Roger,
To
do you differ?
start. To start. No, I mean the game is 90 minutes plus. But
Yeah,
to
Roger, let's hear
start,
you.
Well, I looked at it. He was substituted the 63rd minute in the Borough game. So I think because of that, he's going to be rotated in that. I think he starts because of that. I think had he played 90 minutes, then I think there's a strong possibility that Poch would have done that. I see him. Listen, this is pure conjecture, obviously. I'm assuming that he will start Enzo and Caicedo there. But but Bobby always comes back with logic, But I just feel that after subbing him for 63 minutes, I think that was in part because of the upcoming game.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Yeah, I think that's his
But
wants
who
to start him
knows,
in this
right?
game. Yeah.
no, that makes absolute sense. We'll
But
see.
Bobby, the chances that you are correct, we don't know.
Yeah.
Jesse, you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I think that Enzo and Caicedo will start, but at the same time, Bobby has a very strong, very analytical point. Again, we don't know the situation, the reality. If Enzo Fernandez is fit enough to play at least an hour, I believe that he will start him in this game, knowing the importance of the game for Pochettino himself to go and get a win. So Enzo and Caicedo, but Bobby really has a great point.
Yeah. It could go either way, let's be honest.
It could go either way, but let's stick with this since Bobby agrees with us to a certain extent. So let's go with this one. Would you give the squad to John Terry? I'd say no, because
When you say squad, are you talking about as a manager?
yeah, as a manager, I'd say no, and
No.
that's because as a manager, he's still unknown. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. He did well with what's the other guy? They did relatively well with Aston Villa, but I'd say no, I will not do that. But that's not just me anyway. I went to walk, went and came back home, went a pigeon strapped on my bike and bike seat,
Oh,
and
man.
yet hearing Anthony Taylor is the ref in the worst thing. Yeah, a good day for you overall, right? I would give the squad to Silva, maybe Silva, but still not Silva. You don't know how well he'd do as a manager. So that's just you thinking because of how good he is and his experience, you think he'd do well as a manager. We don't know. So I will not give it to either of them. Pochettino doesn't trust the young CBs enough. Do you want to pair the Sassi and Cowell? I don't. I would say don't do that yet. We haven't done that before, and we don't know how it's going to work. We don't have the luxury to experiment. The only proper leader out there, but Poch gives Ambad to Gallagher. I don't think it was his decision, and you don't know whether it was given to Silva, and he said no, just give it to the younger player. We don't know. As well as we have here, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes will go a long way. And Jerry has shared the link to his YouTube channel. Please, if you haven't, go check it out. He says, please consider subscribing to Blue Board Analysis for an authentic, impartial, and comprehensive analysis. Go check it out. Be sure to subscribe. Let's help him grow. Fully agree with Bobby, putting Gusto on the right, on the left, and Gilchrist on the right. Please don't play Levi Cole on the left-hand side, but you're going to see that anyway. I'll be shocked until proven otherwise. Right now, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm struggling because Poch cannot play your only world-class player. Oh, wow. And Maya, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join, Maya. I hope you're doing well. Without injury, Enzo starts. I think he starts too. While we have Poch, let's see what else we have. Yeah, Terry will do a much better job, maybe in speaking. But speaking and you can say, what's the language? Motivating players is a different thing from you being tactically equipped. So that's the aspect where I have question. He doesn't have to be on the pitch to lead. He can always give excellent speech to remind you that you're playing for Chelsea Football Club and all that. But the tactical aspect of the whole thing, how good do you think he can be? I think you're basing your judgment off the fact that he was a good leader as a player. Yeah. And if he, you can say if he's that ready to be a good manager, good enough to coach Chelsea, he'd have. You can say by now he'd have. Should have coached 2 clubs at least. Yeah, but let's see. We deserve everything we get. Yeah, you can say that. Let's see what else we have. We need a left back as soon as possible. Let's see what the club does. People just exchanging greetings there. Anything else? Terry CV wouldn't get a League One job. Yeah. He said that himself. So yeah, so he's truthful. He's very truthful. Yeah. But that's hilarious, really. Poch is so tactical. I'm not saying he is, but at least he has experience, more experience than Terry is. So I wouldn't go from Poch to
you're
Terry.
comparing apples with oranges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go from Poch to Terry. Poch is causing loads of issues. Playing Levi Cowell on the left-hand side. Okay, that's a solid argument. So we've settled that for here. I think Gallagher still starts. We know that's the case. I don't think the manager does anything differently here. Yeah, I think Gallagher starts there, and I think Palmer starts here. I don't think Madeka will play. I think he played as if he was overwhelmed against Borough.
Modric.
Sorry?
Modric, not Sterling over here.
On the left-hand side, I think Mudryk start. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Mudryk will start. That's what I think. So. Not too certain. But let's hear you, Roger.
I genuinely hope so. And
but you're not too certain.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If he does start him for 2 games, I'm hoping that he was started the last game, meaning Silva, so that Mudryk could play in this game.
Yeah.
I'll be very disappointed if Mudryk isn't given a chance to start because it's going to be more of an expansive game. So let's see. But I can see Poch going with, experience for what it's worth. No comment.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not going to do actually predicted lineup. I'm going to do my preferred lineup for the YouTube shots that I usually do. Gallagher, I don't like it, him playing in the 10th position, but I think that's what's going to happen until the manager does otherwise. Terry would get more out of this squad. Let's see what else we have here. Palmer at right wing, yeah. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen tomorrow. Then more importantly, it's a fluid approach. You see them switching places and all that. Yeah. Coach, come on. I didn't suggest John Terry because he's a good manager. I did because Roger, tea lady Gladys asked for too much. Yes, Poch is that bad.
Gladys.
Oh my goodness. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. So just quickly, tomorrow's Blue Morning show will be the pregame show. And that's because the game starts 4 a.m. 4:30 a.m. my time, and the Blue Morning show usually starts 3 a.m. my time. So yeah, no need to schedule in two different shows. Let's have hello to you too. Let's see what are they cooking? Maya, the food is burnt. Now, Maya, we're not doing that because we like it. We're doing it because that we think that's what the manager would do. If Poch chooses this game, loses this game, yeah, what happens, Kim? So let's hear you. Gallagher mustn't be giving us another embarrassing game. I think he actually did. He wasn't the worst player on that day. Yeah, go check the rated too. Poch out. Kimso. The panic bus driver is back. Let's see anything else. Keep dropping the likes on the screen. We all know Carrick looks now. Thanks to Poch. Yeah, he looks good now. I think I agree. They cook, they cooking beans, bro.
All hot air.
Oh my goodness. I think it's gonna be broiler here.
I hope so too.
I don't see anything that's happening. Let's hear you, Roger. What do you think?
Yeah, I hope it's Breuer up front. I hope we don't have a false line. I mean, no disrespect to Palmer, but I'd rather see Breuer up front. I think he's well suited to this game. He can give us another dimension aerially also. So, yeah, let's see what happens. I can see this lineup as pretty much being baked on. I can also see Madueke starting, and maybe Palmer playing in there, in the cam. But who knows? I think 95% there's a chance that this is the starting 11. I believe. I really do.
If anything, there will be too many changes. 2-3 players at most.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Just quickly before I go to Bobby, I know he has something to say. My bro, let me say this quickly, Kim. So, Constantin Dante. No, you are the chat is with Kimso because Kimso is the original panic bus driver. Yeah, so you guys are with him.
Yeah, he's got the keys.
You. Yeah, you got it mixed up there. He's the king of the panic boss and the manager out. Kimso is no, I've explained that. And my bro, Nee from the Blue Class Media, Nee Zion, nice to see you, brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join. And here's to you, much respect to you. Yeah, I had to do we had to do this time. I know it clashed with your show, so I apologize for that. We had to do it this time. That's because we couldn't do it last night. And usually this time is between the time that you host the shows. He says, greetings to my brother Pochettino. Need to improve the squad that he has available to him. I agree. And please go check out my bro's YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. It's easy. Click the 3 dots to his name and click on go to YouTube channel. That will go a long way. Let's see. Can someone confiscate Poch's iPad tomorrow? He's the current world record holder of Candy Crush Saga. So you're saying that's what he plays? He's not actually doesn't pay attention. Don't get too excited, Roger. And let's see, my bro Glenn 10. Coach, there seems to be an issue with your lineup. There's only one player out of position. Wow. I get that. Defeat FC will be back. Let's see, definitely not scoring with Gallagher in the 10th position. Then he's gonna shock you tomorrow. If Stalin is on the bench, I am happy. But he will most likely start, but let's see what happens. We are losing this game. I like to hear that. It looks like whenever we hear that, we end up winning. So say it even more. Kimso is a legend. He is the original panic bus driver. I saw Kimso cleaning his bus earlier today, probably preparing for a bumpy ride. It will be. Bumpy indeed. I had a call with a Taylor. He will be fair. I think the last game, actually, he made some good calls in our favor. 3-0 Chelsea morning market. I don't like it when Mitchie Boy says we're going to win.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. But Chelsea, Mitchie Boy, nice to see you, bro. I appreciate you finding time to join. Please, guys, go check out Mitchie Boy's YouTube channel. Let's help him get to 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible. He deserves that. I don't see anybody hosting 15 hours long show in one go. That's only Mitchie that does that. Big up chat. Let's see. Breaking news. The board are concerned about Poch playing Levi Cohen in the left back position. You're making up a lot of stuff then dumping it on us. Poch should just pick the two on the bench. It's easy. So let's hear you, Bobby. Anything else you want to say? Look at the three in behind the striker and look at all of them. See, do you differ?
I don't think, with all the lessons that Chelsea have had to learn about physicality, that Pochettino is going to go with Enzo and Caicedo alone in midfield. It's not going to happen. If it does, then it means he doesn't learn from his mistakes. Unfortunately, we're in a physical league. Yes, they both collectively cost 200 million, but we had two excellent midfielders in the past in Fabregas and Kante. And Antonio Conte still learned very, very quickly that he had to have a Matic in
Yeah.
between those players in order for them to really produce their best. This is why I believe he's going to use Gallagher. At the moment, Gallagher is the only thing close. And,
Then
this
who
is
plays
where
in the cam? Enzo plays further up front.
Enzo has to go further up front because he is the more delicate of the three and
Sure,
he's
sure.
probably the more creative. He's our Fabregas.
Yeah.
And
No, I get
Enzo
it.
and Caicedo is our Kante. Now, we don't have a Matic yet. We are using Gallagher to the best of his ability. So that is the deficiency. Because believe you me, with the likes of Paulinho and the other midfielders that Fulham have, if you're going to use Caicedo and Enzo, then get ready for a solid beating. You can't. They're going to overwhelm you. This is the thing that happened to us at Borough. Even although, to be fair, when we did have Gallagher and Caicedo, we were still out muscled. But you've
Yeah.
got to compensate for physicality. You've got to, and that's why the left back is probably going to go again with Levi Colwell. Although I wish he wouldn't.
Yep, thank you so much, Bobby. But Roger, do you agree with the three in behind the striker? Let's see if Bobby is alone.
Yeah, I think I do. I do.
Okay.
And I agree with Bobby. I've come to the conclusion there's a strong possibility that Enzo and Caicedo, how shall I put this delicately, that they're a liability defensively. They just are. They're not big enough. I hate to say it, but I have to agree with
Certainly for
Bobby.
the Premier League. If we
Yeah,
were
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Europe,
No,
we could
I
use
get it.
that sometimes.
Yeah, but
not in the Premier
I'm
League.
referring to the Premier League. It's just from every game that we've seen, that's been the obvious, shall we say, impediment for us. It's quite obvious that I'm not sure these two can play together in this league as the double pivot. That is, sadly.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Late sub to try and change things. So Mitchie Boy is not in your camp. You should know that. Mitchie is not in your camp. Mitchie is chairman of the Wafflers Union. So you should know. 12 hours, Kuchila, and have you met Roger and Bobby? Yeah, I know them. I have to report you to the Players Union because you are exhausting them and they probably don't get overtime pay.
That was a
Keep dropping likes on
marathon.
the stream, people. The likes do go a long way, and people having a good conversation there. Am I missing something here? Should I be investing in dog food or those little bag plastic bags? I told you you're going to that place. You're going to the edge place, and believe me, if any area is hotter than the other areas, that's where you're gonna be. Honestly, I told you that. Let's see. I am here, bro. No worries coming, bro. Much appreciated. Much love to you. So if you think we are getting overwhelmed in the midfield, why not change it up? Change up formation to suit Poch doesn't know how to. Yeah, I think he should actually change it up, Roger. Shouldn't he? What do you think? Even the entire structure to start playing, to stop playing, playing, you can say a center back in the left back position. He could go with a 3-4-2-1 structure, still play. You can say 3-4-2-1 structure, and
like City does.
Yeah, exactly. If it get what's come to what, you play wingers in the wing back position, which is modern day of playing that structure.
Yeah, he's
to be fair to him. He tried that, remember, with Chilwell, and Chilwell wasn't really up to it.
Well, you look at the first game against Liverpool.
Him up as a winger.
It was a 3-5-2, right?
Yeah, and we were effective. It was effective on the day.
Very. I would prefer us to be more effective under a back four, but we're not, to be honest with you. At least defensively, I'm talking about. We look more sound with a three at the back. We really do, because I don't know. I agree. Maybe even a 4-3-3. You know, I don't know.
But he's too stubborn with the 4-2-3-1 that it's not funny. He doesn't. Look like it. Yeah.
I have to concede that I believe. I think we should stick to it once we get all the players back and see where it goes from there. But if this doesn't, once the vast majority of the squad does return and is healthy, and we still aren't getting or maximizing our potential, then I think it behooves the coaching staff to look at alternative formations, because I don't think we have the right personnel for the 4-2-3-1, based on the fact that we don't have a true DM. We just don't. We don't have an enforcer. Far from it. We just don't. I think once we get another Matic, for instance, you know, unless Lavia turns out, but to me, he's not a DM. He's a box-to-box.
But the few minutes we saw him, he proved that he had the physicality.
Oh, sure, I agree.
In that game, we were missing, despite not having the height. He allowed us to enforce some authority in midfield. You know, the thing you're saying about not having the personnel to switch formation is 100% right. But I'm going to ask a question, which I believe I know the answer to. Is this really a formation issue or a goal or a finishing issue? Because I find, because we miss so many chances, the team implodes and puts itself under offensive pressure. Because its head starts to drop. And until we resolve that issue of finishing, we may never really be able to deal with some of the shortcomings created by absent players.
Bobby, you know what I know. Goals change games. Period.
100.
If listen, he's been marvelous for us this year. But had Palmer converted on one or two of these early opportunities, you're looking, I believe, at a very different outcome. For instance, it's taking those chances, and you're right, and that puts far less pressure on other players. You know, you're right. This is a youthful team that they become bogged down with the weight of that shirt, based on the fact that we don't have a lead, and it takes its toll. And you're right. I think that psychologically and physically, it bears that out. If we start to be more clinical, I think you're looking at a very different team indeed.
I just want to give an example to allude to that point. If you watched Madueke, for example, in that game against Forest, the more chances he really wasn't able to make good, the more mistakes he continued to make because his confidence was waning before our
Mhm.
eyes, his head was dropping, and he was becoming clumsy. By the time he was taken off, he could barely even trap a ball. So until we start
Yeah.
finishing, and this is where, really, to be honest, Sterling should be helping because his performance and his clinical nature in front of goal helps the younger ones. And if he's fluffing his lines just like them, they have nobody to look to bail them out in terms of confidence. And this is a problem for us at the moment.
So, if I can add my 2 cents to that, so it's a combination of different factors, as you said, with the 4-2-3-1, and if this is the reason. So, if Roger would probably recall, and Coachella as well, September, October, November, we've been talking which formation we will use, and I was always very sure that 4-2-3-1 will be the go-to formation for
Yeah.
Pochettino,
Yeah.
because of course he likes that a lot, and it has to do with the fullbacks. He really relies on his fullback, and his tactics are revolve around that, which he doesn't really have with Chilwell and
With
Reece
the
James.
forward press too.
Absolutely. And I believe, of course, we can only speculate what it is in front of us, that he believed when Nkunku came back. And also, James, if we go a couple of months back, we never knew that they will get unfit or injured again. So he was already like, he had this plan to have this formation with Reece James and Nkunku, because you will probably agree it would really suit if they were all they would be available. So we can criticize myself that he should probably have changed for now with the back three or some other formation. It would have worked better. But knowing him, every coach is different. So I believe, again, it's just my theory that this is what he wants to do in the future. So he don't want to change it for now. He
Yeah.
wants to really uh, train them, have them integrated in this formation. So yeah, so this is my 2 cents. And again, I really believe if we see and analyze the games, the chances, not only Palmer recently, but with Nicholas Jackson, especially in the first dozen of games, like we could have won most of them. So yeah, it is more to do with finishing and positional aspects, I would say.
Right. Thank you so much. I think we'll have to catch up and call it a day. I think it's been an excellent discussion. Coach, where's your silly soundboard? Okay, you want it? There you go. Yeah. Congratulations to you. You got it. Koa is gonna start left back, bro. Yeah, we all know that. May do a stream tomorrow. Okay, just let us know on time. Coach Bobby, Broja, would you like to contribute? Donate for Poch's banner? Nope. I'm not contributing. Poch might go for 3-4-2-1. Let's see if that happen. Until I see that, I don't think he changes. Double pivot with Enzo and Casado. I think Enzo starts. A lot of us think Enzo starts, but Bobby thinks otherwise. Poch doesn't know how to use Enzo, in my opinion, and Poch has to start setting up for a game plan. Yep, he just comes out and says, "Let's go." Right? Okay, I've got a fiver towards Galabana to
Coach, I
annoy.
didn't say Enzo doesn't start particularly. I just said that if Enzo is a starter, he will have him as one of three in midfield, not one of two.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry for misunderstanding what you said there. Poch play Enzo and eight and not let him drop deep. The problem is that we don't have a proper DM. We don't have any right now. I agree. I predict if Poch wins all the time, he will know where to play. Whatever that means. The Poch too stubborn, stuck in that formation. Like I said, he's not playing to play. He's not playing players to their strengths. He needs to adapt with what he has available to him. 4-2-3-1 or 3-4-2-1. Yeah, that's a good structure actually. Just having a conversation with Mitchie there. Let's see what else we have here. Coach No Cap, I received an email from the club saying they sold 20k tickets to the United game and informing me that there's more tickets available. We are in the mud. Wow. BIZ, nice to see you. You're just stopping by to say hi. Hopefully you dropped you dropped a like on the stream. You said hi, and then he
I
says
think that person is
he
referring to
said
the
bye.
women's game.
Sorry?
I think he's referring to the women's game against Man United.
Oh, okay.
But there are tickets available.
Oh, okay. 10 for Poch. That would be annoy me. Let's see what else we have here. William's gonna cook Gilchrist. Let's see. I think Gilchrist will unsettle him. That's what I think will happen if he starts. We cannot keep relying on Cole Palmer to get us. Yeah, we've seen how that he's human too. If we could get Victor this window, I don't think he comes to us this window. No matter how, even if we get him, he probably will come in the summer. Why didn't we recall David Dutcher Fofana? We'll recall them and then send him out on loan again. I would have said keep him. If we're keeping David Silva, David Washington, why not keep Dutcher Fofana? I think he's more experience of the two. Yeah, if anything. But
For
of
sure.
course we had to. Yeah. Sorry, Roger.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah, I would have done that. If it were up to me, I'd keep him and send David Washington out on loan because he's more physical of the two. And I think he's actually probably would do better for us than David Washington right now, given what we're seeing. Fofana gone to Bali on loan now. But yes, I would have kept him over over Broya. That's you looking to hear what Roger would say, right? Okay, the board needs a left back. Let's see if they do that. And they knew we would lose Jackson to Afghan for a while. Broya got injured early on. This was waiting to happen. Oh, yeah. I think we're starting to learn, as bad as Jackson has been, was before he left for Afghan, he does a lot right. Yeah, he does a lot right. I'll see you tomorrow too, Vic, during the pregame show, because the Blue Morning Show will be the pregame show. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Take care all. Yep. Great show, Coach. And Bobby Roger, we cannot lose tomorrow. No. I'll take the first thing you say. We're losing tomorrow. I think going by that, we're winning. But if you say this now, I'm concerned. So stick with what you said before. Anybody else on the panel has anything else to add before we call it a day?
No, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this first stream from UK, and it was really great always to share the space with the legends and someone who really, the two people I really appreciate and look up to, Bobby and Roger. Thank you guys for allowing me to share this space with you.
Look up to Coach.
How are you finding our heat wave we have right now?
Yeah, it's really cold, so I probably got a little bit showed my passion, So it's all good over here, really enjoying it, and yeah, settling down. So yeah, thank you so much. So maybe someday we'll catch up with you and see you.
Notice the lack of palm trees, by the way.
Yeah, I know the branch that Roger likes in terms of beer. Just
it's really good, really enjoying it. Thank you guys.
Welcome.
All right, Constantine Dante saying, breaking news, Poch's cousin is taking over women's team after Emma Hayes, legend. The women are now doomed as well. Just go away. When Kerr heard the news, she did her SCL. Wow. Let's see what I see. Javier Rich Money Maker says, this board, don't let back end, they will go mad. Okay, let's see. Big up to everyone. I appreciate you all finding the time to join. I will add the information of the panelists once we're done to the description section. So check it out and follow them. We need to win. We cannot suffer with Manchester United and Arsenal this weekend. I think we'll win a lot, but I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. So I'm going to say thank you to Glenn Tan, thank you to Maya, thank you to the beautiful game, Rich Money Maker, St. Constantine Dante. Thank you to Roger Dodger. Thank you to Chelsea Mitchell Boy. Thank you to Bobby. Thank you to Jerry Z, BRZ, and all of you. And if I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and cheers.
Good night, chaps.
Good night, everyone. Just go.